go back and because I've heard it's really good. And as we talked about last week, Stern is a fantastic interviewer.
He does the best interviews, and he has gotten, less weird, less vulgar shock jockey because you can't be a shock jock anymore. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, it doesn't really work anymore. I think people are kind of over it.
But he gets the biggest names and he gets them to open up and just tell stories that you won't hear anywhere else.
He's very, very good at that. So I would imagine the Springsteen interview is a lot of it. That's Amy Marks Coors. Mm-hmm. I'm Chris Ranji.
Kevin!
There's no Kevin. Kevin is no longer on the show, in case you didn't
He's no longer with us.
He's no longer with us. Will you stop saying that? People are going to think he's dead.
But he is literally no longer with us.
You're right. He is no longer with us. He is not dead, though.
Yeah.
Kevin is on to better things? Bigger things?
Okay, first of all,
or is it fine? I don't know.
Rude, you need to work on your self-worth.
No, I mean better for us.
Okay.
No, Kevin is on the Dave Glover show.
Yeah.
Just a quick primer so people
heard of it?
Yeah, the Dave Glover show. What is that? No, so he is on that now. He replaced Trish, who is scaling back her duties. She wanted to spend more time at home, so she's now not with this station, but she is still with KEZK. Kevin's in for her now.
Mm-hmm.
The show goes until 1. And then the Glover show comes in at 1:00. And for that first hour, and we did it yesterday, and it was a lot of fun. So we expect there to be a lot of that. From 1 to 2, it's you and I, Amy and Chris, with the Dave Glover show. And that's a fun hour.
It's chaos.
So I don't know. I hope we can top yesterday, because yesterday was great.
I don't know how we can. I don't know how we can, with Andrew talking about cheating, but not really cheating at his Nerd Rage tournament.
Yeah, his Magic the Gathering.
Yeah. And there was that. And then I had my milk
in the
refrigerator.
A weirdo. Yeah.
I have half and half. This company doesn't have half and half or cream. They have non-dairy creamer, which it's un-American. It's not a great thing.
Is that your biggest complaint about Odyssey, is the milk?
Believe it or not, it's not, but it's the one that I'll say on air.
Is it? Amy Marks Coors, Chris Ranji.
Yeah.
We're both on the show with you. And you can join us at any time, 314-436-7900 to call or to text. If you just want to drop us a voicemail, like 30 seconds or less, or more, it's 944-1120. You can call that number. And we recommend that you follow us on Twitter. We're still on it. We have not been suspended by Elon yet. So at the show KMOX, that is at the show KMOX.
And we would love to hear from you on this match day.
Yes.
U.S. versus Iran. Do you have a watch party? Are you taking off work? Are you sneaking out of work, like playing hooky? What are your plans to cheer on
for
the
a
United States team?
Good question, because for a lot of people, Amy, this is a time of year that people take a lot of vacation days. As we get deeper into the month of December, a lot of people are taking time off. So I wonder if
like how you're taking time off on Friday.
Hey, why don't you go to Banff again? Guys are getting on me for taking a couple days off coming up here, and like, you've been gone for 6 months out of the 6 months that we've been doing the show.
Okay.
So as far as the game today goes, match, whatever you want to call it, Bill McDermott is going to join us at 11:00 to sort of preview what is an absolute must win. The United States has to win today in order to move on to the knockout rounds. We will visit with Kathy Schulte from Wreaths Across America. Gary Hoey is a guitarist, and he is going to join us. And also we will talk, it's going to rain or something. So meteorologist from AccuWeather, Joe Lundberg, is going to visit with us today.
What were we listening to? Was it TIAM when we heard the interview and a guy said, I'm looking forward to the U.S.-Iran game, non-political. I don't want any politics in it. And I'm like,
that was exactly it.
The classic non-political U.S. versus Iran. Certainly nothing political there.
Well, how about this exchange yesterday between Tyler Adams, who is one of the players on the U.S. team.
The captain of the U.S. men's team at the age of 23.
He is, he's very good. And he was talking about, look, this match, I don't think anybody would disagree, has a lot of undertones of politics And, just like you were mentioning during the total information this morning, that guy who said, I just want to watch the game. I think when most people are watching the game, they're not actively thinking about policies. They're not thinking about politics. They're not thinking about how Iran and the government of Iran, and not the Iranian people, but the government of that country is oppressive,
Yes.
especially toward women.
An oppressive theocracy with
Yes.
with zero freedom of speech, freedom of expression.
They have literal morality police. Literal morality police. And that's what all of this is about. That's what the protests in Iran have been about. That's what a lot of the objections to that country have been over the last several weeks. And of course, being in the World Cup, those things have been amplified.
And to be fair to the soccer players' credit, for the Iranian national team, they did protest by not singing along to their national anthem.
Well,
so they have done a bit of protesting themselves.
Here is an exchange between an Iranian journalist yesterday and Tyler Adams, the player we were just talking about for the United States.
You say you support the Iranian people, but you're pronouncing our country's name wrong. Our country is named Iran, not Iran. Please, once and for all, let's get this clear. Second of all, are you okay to be representing a country that has so much discrimination against Black people in its own borders? And we saw the Black Lives Matter movement over the past few years.
My apologies on the mispronunciation of your country. That being said, there's discrimination everywhere you go. One thing that I've learned, especially from living abroad in the past years and having to fit in different cultures, is that in the U.S. we're continuing to make progress every single day. I grew up in a white family with obviously an African American heritage and background as well. So I had a little bit of different cultures, and I was very, very easily able to assimilate in different cultures. So not everyone has that ease and the ability to do that, and obviously it takes longer to understand. And through education, I think it's super important. Like you just educated me now on the pronunciation of your country. So it's a process. I think as long as you see progress, that's the most important thing.
Quite a few things here. First of all, he handled that. Adams handled that question beautifully.
I could not have answered it better myself. My fear would be I wouldn't know, in that moment,
right,
you would freeze and not know how to give a diplomatic answer.
Well, I think he was prepared for it, especially with, again, the politics that have been involved over the last few days. And, U.S. players being asked about heavy political things and not necessarily the match and the actual soccer. They've been talking about stuff off the field, and that's been going on for a few days, like the U.S. Soccer Federation's tweet that, I don't know if you want to call it a protest tweet or maybe a small dig at the Iranian government by removing the Islamic Republic symbol from the flag and the graphic that they tweeted and that they put on Instagram, and there was that whole kerfuffle about that stuff. So they've been asked about a lot of things that don't really have to do with soccer. So number one, he handled that wonderfully. Number two, the Iranian journalist is correct. It is Iran. And I have been saying it that way for a long time, just because I have friends who are Iranian of descent, Iranian descent. And they told me years ago, like, we don't pronounce it the way you pronounce it. It's actually this. So I knew that. But also third, that's some tremendous whataboutism from him, from that reporter, to be like, well, what about you? What about the United States? And what about the racism that you have in your country? And you know what? He's right. But also there's nothing that is more irritating to me than what about this? Yeah, you do that, but what about this? What about that? No, let's deal with your own stuff first.
The implication from the reporter in that question is that there is a moral equivalency between the oppressive, theocratic regime in Iran with the morality police killing women if they don't adhere to these strict codes, arbitrary codes of conduct and of dress, of the oppression, the freedom, the lack of the freedom of speech or freedom of the press or the rights of the individual, as if there's a moral equivalency between that and the very real issues we're still facing in the United States today. Because, as we've said multiple times, we did have legalized racism for 356 years, 365 years, and you can't erase all of the effects of that in the 60-something years since the civil rights movement. So we're still dealing with our past sins. But as Tyler Adams pointed out, we're making progress. And as a nation, we are moving forward, and our laws are not designed to oppress people now in the way that the morality police in Iran and this autocratic regime. So there's no moral equivalency. And that's what the reporter was trying to do, is have a gotcha question. And for this 23-year-old captain of the men's soccer team to answer so respectfully, diplomatically, and wisely in a situation where there is a huge weight of geopolitical tension. I think of the history between the United States and Iran, whether it's the hostage crisis or Iran-Contra, and he was able to just handle it, answer it honestly, not cover up for the sins of America. I think it's so impressive.
314-436-7900. If you want to join the show today, we would love to hear from you. It's Amy and Chris on KMOX.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to KMOX for all the news, sports, talk, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
We are part of St. Louis's newest holiday tradition at the Red. Journey into the magical wonderland of the timeless classic, A Christmas Carol. Performances November 18th through December 30th. Tickets on sale at redstl.org.
They say a good craftsman never blames their tools, and the best always choose the right one for the job. For the builders and makers of this world, nothing beats knowing you've got what you need to get the project done. Northern Tool is a problem solver's paradise. And with savings of up to 50% off and great new deals dropping every week, we've got the perfect gift for all the solvers on your list. We're made for this. Come see us in store or shop online at northerntool.com.
This is Debbie Monterey with a real estate update and some insight for my friend and trusted realtor, Gloria Liu, with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria told me that sitting on the sidelines may not be the best strategy moving forward in this continually shifting market. Homes aren't selling as quickly, and in most cases, price reductions are becoming pretty common. Gloria also said that earlier this year, with low inventory, sellers didn't need a strategy to sell homes because homes were listed and sold immediately. Now more than ever, it's crucial to have a proven strategy to get your home sold, and that's why I strongly suggest you call local real estate expert Gloria Liu before you list your home to get the absolute most money. Gloria is so confident that she will sell your home, she'll guarantee in writing upfront to sell it at your agreed-to price and time frame, or she'll buy your home herself. Learn more by calling Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So what do you provide? Cookie cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
It's back again this year.
Dinner's ready.
No, please. Rearing its ugly head.
Hey, what's for dinner, Mom? I just can't.
It's shaking you to your core.
You're using the leftover turkey again tonight?
Languishing leftover turkey disorder is here.
Don't make me do it! Help me!
But there's only one hero that can save the day.
Bingo!
Brewpub Lots of Matzo Pizzas. It's dinner tonight.
Work or play, KMOX is right there with you. We go where you go.
It's Amy and Chris on the new show until 1 o'clock when the Dave Glover show takes over. And then we're going to sit in with them for an hour up until 2 o'clock. And then DGS is ongoing. Also, that 5 o'clock hour with Kevin and Michael Calhoun and Matt Pauley. They're all part of a Total Information PM. Yeah, it's going to be great. It was very good yesterday. I expect it to be good all of the time. What wasn't all that impressive, I don't think, or all that good, Amy, was Cyber Monday.
Yeah. So I did some Black Friday shopping online. I didn't go to any brick and mortar stores, which is surprising because I do love them all. I love them all. I love the Galleria. I didn't go. I did minimal Black Friday shopping on Friday. Yesterday, I would not have known it was anything special. Maybe I was going to the wrong websites. But a couple of websites that I was looking at, like for Christmas gifts for family members and friends, the special was, spend $200, get free shipping. I'm like, well, I think you have that all the time. That's not a special.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spend $200 for free shipping.
There's this place, I get all these texts now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll do the thing where you go to the website and it's 15% off your first order.
Or it says, no thanks, I like paying more.
Yeah. They're like, no, I'll pay full price.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? If that keeps you from contacting me, then yes, I will.
Yeah.
But what they want is you give them your email address and then you type that in and they go, great. Now, in order to get that deal, give us your phone number too. And so you give them your phone number, whatever. The last several days going back to, I don't know, beginning of last week, it's just been incessant. My phone lights up and I go, oh, somebody's reaching out to me.
Right.
Nope, it's a Cyber Monday deal or it was a Black Friday deal. And you know what? None of them are all that good.
No.
There's stuff that they're doing anyway, like a periodic 10% off or a periodic 15% off. That's stuff you get anyway. Wasn't the whole thing behind Black Friday and Cyber Monday for years was that these are just outrageous deals that you have to take advantage of them. Where are those?
I 100% agree because some of the deals were better last week. They did the early Black Friday sale. So on Tuesday, the sale started. It was 30% off site-wide. That's not bad. That's pretty good. But that was it. That was the best deal. There was nothing super special about yesterday. Nike.com had, I think it was an extra 25% off of select items. So I thought, I wear Nike shoes. I'll go online. So I'm on Nike.com and I get the shoes I want and I have to pick, maybe an ugly color in order to apply the cyber code. And that was actually the code was cyber, which is why I'm calling it a cyber code. And I got the spinning wheel of death. It wouldn't add the shoe to my bag. And I tried probably 7 or 8 times, spending way too much time trying to get this page to load. So I don't know if Nike was having issues or if it was my computer, why my computer was working on other websites. I don't know. So I didn't even get that deal because I got the spinning wheel of death. I was not impressed with Cyber Monday.
Cyber Monday, according to money.com, the average discount on many different like electronics, for example, 15% on Black Friday this year, which is almost half of the discounts for Black Friday 2 years ago. It was almost 28%.
I believe it.
And that was during COVID. That was during that winter where nobody was leaving the house. But it's still even more than or less, significantly less than last year. It's about 9%, which is crazy because you're not. I think it's got a lot to do with inflation, and companies they're making good profits. And by the way, the numbers are going to bear out when this is all over and they go back and look that this Cyber Monday, in terms of profits for companies, is going to be extraordinary. They're going to do really, really well
because they didn't discount anything.
Right. And so my fear is that they learn from this and they go, oh, well, I guess Cyber Monday is just not going to be a big deal anymore.
This is a huge bummer. Now, years ago, maybe this was 7, 8 years ago, you know, you go to your family's house for Thanksgiving, for Christmas. So I went to, as I always do, my parents' house for Thanksgiving, and I, stayed the night there. And so my sister and I sharing a bedroom, and all I remember is on midnight, like at midnight on Friday, I wake up because there's this glow coming from my sister's bed, and she is on her laptop, like putting stuff in her shopping bag online and buying it, and not even filling the shopping bag. Because if let's say you were on one website and you knew you were going to buy multiple items, those items were selling out so quickly, she'd put it in the bag and buy it and then go back and keep shopping. I think she shopped from like midnight to 3 a.m. because the savings, it was like an extra 50% off of things that were already on sale. So you were just stealing the clothes at that point.
Right.
Doesn't happen anymore.
No, they don't like
do
us.
it at all.
No, I'm very disappointed to learn that companies just really like to make money.
This is a shocking revelation.
Yeah.
Well,
I haven't been able to reconcile that just yet. Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji, and when we come back, we are going to try to avoid a strike, a railroad strike. Don't know what we can do about it, but maybe the government can. We'll tell you about that coming back on KMOX.
Weeknights at 6. It's Sports Open Line.
Welcome into the program. My name is Matt Pauley.
Matt gets you inside the world of sports. Cardinals, Chiefs, Pelicans. You'll get it all and much more.
We have an exclusive podcast that's Cardinals related.
Plus great guests, insight, and conversations with you.
If you want to join us, you can do so by calling or texting.
Sports Open Line. You don't want to miss it. Weeknights at 6 on America's Sports Voice. KMOX.
KMOX News Time is 10:28. Donate a car, get a tax receipt, and tickets to the St. Louis Aquarium at mersgoodwill.org.
This time of year, you might notice that the brick in your patio is going astray. Call Morelli. Hi, this is Charlie Brennan for Morelli Tuck Pointing, which has won every award possible in this industry, including the Better Business Bureau Torch Award, which is only given to companies with exceptional customer service. Morelli Tuck Pointing is the masonry specialist, serving St. Louis and beyond for 31 years. Morelli can do completely solid houses and buildings, spot pointing with color match, brick and stone repair, foundation repair, walkways, porches, patios, caulking, waterproofing solutions, and much more. Family owned and operated, and a lot of longtime employees that are like family. Call and request a free and quick estimate at 314-645-1387 or online at MorelliTuckPointing.com. And don't forget to check out their great reviews on the Google and Better Business Bureau websites. 314-645-1387 or MorelliTuckPointing.com.
Carol Daniel for Ophthalmology Associates. For the best eye doctors, you need to see the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Online at youridoc.com or 314-966-5000. The holidays are here, but for some families, they'll spend that time at SSM Health Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. I'm Carol Daniel. KMOX, along with all of our sister stations at our company, Odyssey STL, are again proud to partner with you and other generous St. Louisans in our community to raise funds for the Tree of Hope campaign for Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. It's so easy to give. Just text the word HOPE to 20357 or KMOX.com/Cardinal Glennon. At 10:30, we have sunny skies. It's 54 degrees. It feels more like 50 downtown at the Arch. I'm Carol Daniel. Lawmakers expected to vote this week on a resolution that would force rail employees to keep working and accept a contract the Biden administration helped broker. This ahead of a possible strike that could start as early as next week. The tensions between Washington and Tehran are taking a back seat in theory as Team USA prepares to take on Iran at the World Cup in Qatar today. On the streets of Doha, this U.S. fan is eager to see a competitive match free of politics.
I prefer to focus on the soccer element of it. Obviously, the geopolitical aspect of things is significant as well. There's a lot of geopolitical tension between both countries, but we're focused on the sport tonight.
Chinese universities are sending students home, and police are fanning out in Beijing and Shanghai to prevent more protests. That comes after crowds angered by severe antivirus restrictions called for leader Xi Jinping to resign in the biggest show of public dissent in decades. The Supreme Court is taking up a dispute over a blocked Biden administration policy that would prioritize deportation of people in the country illegally who pose the greatest public safety risk. Republican-led states sued and won a nationwide court order that is meant to limit immigration officers' discretion in deciding whom to deport. They're working a crash on 30 eastbound past 270. The right lane is closed. Could be closed for another 45 minutes, according to MoDOT. Watch for a stall 170 southbound past Ala Boulevard. The right lane is closed there, but could reopen in about 10 minutes. And a crash 44 westbound at Lindbergh Boulevard. The two left lanes are closed in that location and could be closed for about 20 minutes. The KMOX forecast is sponsored by the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company. Cloudy, windy, and warm, the high 65. Then we look for rain and possible thunderstorms late this afternoon into the evening hours with very gusty winds as well. Then things will clear out and dry out and the temperatures fall. Look for an overnight low of 25 to 30 degrees, but it will feel more like the teens. And for tomorrow, sunny with cold, gusty winds, the high around 40, but the wind chill more like in the 20s and 30s. Right now, we do have mostly sunny skies. It is still a breezy morning, 54 degrees. It feels like 50 downtown at the Arch. Are you considering life insurance? Penn Mutual's accelerated client experience makes applying for life insurance fast and easy. Ask your independent advisor or go to PennMutual.com/STL. I'm Carol Daniel, KMOX News.
When you need to know what's happening, it's time to get in the huddle.
You're fraudulent. You're not in the business of winning football games. You're in the business of trying to prove your own asinine decisions correct. We can talk about the Irsay thing. Do I think the Saturday thing is the biggest joke in the history of the NFL? I do. But at least he was willing to say, this ain't working for me. I don't care that I just gave him extensions.
Listen to In the Huddle, available on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Join the internationally acclaimed Ambassadors of Harmony live in concert December 9th through the 11th at the Two Hill Performing Arts Center. See why thousands make this their Christmas tradition. Tickets on sale now at AOH.org. Be enchanted with the Christmas spirit with the Ambassadors of Harmony. 5 shows only December 9th through the 11th. Purchase online at AOH.org.
Your home of the Cardinals.
Arenado swings and hits it deep to left field. That ball is out of here.
The Billikens.
Jumper. Yes! Billikens win!
The Chiefs.
Touchdown! Kansas City!
We are America's sports voice, KMOX.
It is the show on KMOX. Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores with you this morning. And Ranj, it's been a fraught situation for about 3 years now between unions of railway workers and the carriers for whom they work. And there was a threat of a railroad strike that would be taking place this fall, which would really devastate the nation's economy. It would be, I think, 100,000 railway workers were on the brink of striking. That would be 30% of the nation's freight movements would be affected. And I mean, you can only imagine how this would affect supply chain issues and how inflation, gas, every part of our daily lives, we would feel this. So with that being the case, Joe Biden and Democratic leaders in Congress agreed last night to support legislation that would block a walkout by those union members, by about 100,000 railway union members, which was set for the end of next week. And I know a lot of business groups are relieved. The strike now is not going to happen since this legislation would pass and prevent those workers from striking. But this has been something that if you follow the story, why this has not been resolved over the course of 3 years. I think really the talk started 5 years ago, but the intense negotiations that involved a mediation board, it even involved recommendations from the president's emergency board, which the president has. It's under his purview to create an emergency board if there is a major strike looming that could affect the nation's economy. And it hasn't been resolved. So now Congress is forced to prevent the strike from taking place.
Like a lot of things that have been going on in the last several months in this country, the average person getting squeezed a bit, and really in a lot of cases getting squeezed a lot because of inflation. And a lot of it is corporate inflation. It is companies who are making record profits and they are charging high prices. They don't necessarily have to charge, but they're doing it because they can get away with it, because there's nobody there to stop them, and people continue to buy, people continue to consume. So there's no real incentive for companies to stop charging higher prices. And the record profits that exists for the rail companies too. It's not just in every other, it's not just gas, it's not just food, groceries, whatever. The rail companies are doing very, very well. And what the workers are arguing for now, most of them, I don't know if I should say most, but the median salary is pretty good. I mean, you're talking six figures for a lot of those who work on the railways. But what they're asking for is paid sick leave, because they have, you know how many days they have of paid sick leave? Nothing. They have nothing. They're asking for 4 days paid of sick leave per year, which is really nothing when you compare it to the rest of the world. In other countries, it's nothing to have 15 or 16 days of paid leave. Some countries, I think the UK has 28 days of paid sick leave. We are one of the worst in the entire developed world in terms of paying employees who need to take off when they're sick. So now the rail workers have people coming to work when they have COVID because they can't, because they get punished. And in some cases, they'll get fired if they don't come in. And that's what this fight is about. And it sounds like the rail companies, what they've done here is they're just, it's like they are trying to run out the clock until they get to this deadline so that Congress has to force them to come back. That's why the rail companies love the fact that Joe Biden and this Congress are going to step in to force those workers to get back without giving them the paid days that they deserve.
Yeah, and that's why I want to look more into this contract, because the union initially negotiated this deal, right? Just like we're union, SAG-AFTRA is union. We have negotiated deals, and there are parts of our negotiated deal that maybe we don't like. One thing, like being an on-air personality, we get 2 holidays. Like we have to use vacation for,
which is kind of nuts.
We have to use vacation for Thanksgiving. The only 2 paid holidays that we get are Christmas Day and New Year's Day. Any other holiday, 4th of July, Easter, Thanksgiving, you use a vacation day, because generally it's a give and take process. That's the whole point of negotiations. There are other benefits and other perks for our union and for our job that, make up for it. So this is why I do want to try to understand more. What are the workers getting? Because this is not just a negotiation process at this point that has gone on between the railway and the unions. You have had the National Mediation Board and the Presidential Emergency Board make recommendations that the carriers have accepted. Now, my understanding is that some of the demands have changed. You could argue that's moving the goalposts. You could argue it's part of negotiations. But these boards have recommended such thing as a 24% pay increase over 5 years. That would be the largest increase ever. The preservation of platinum health benefits, an additional day of paid leave, the preservation of 11 paid holidays, which is 2 more than the average union represented worker receives, and 4 more than the average transportation sector worker receives. And so there are other benefits. My question is, what are the union workers receiving where we might say, okay, I understand paid sick leave isn't part of the deal, but you have these other perks? Because again, if the National Mediation Board and the Presidential Emergency Board, which are pro-union and Democrat-led, you would think they're not trying to screw over these union workers.
The fact the rail companies are happy about this leads me to believe that they're coming out on top. It leads me to believe that no matter what has been conceded to this point, they are still winning. And again, the rail companies made about $6 billion in profits last year. In the first 3 quarters of this year, so through September, they were already at $4.5 billion. So they're going to surpass that. They are increasing profits from the prior year. It's not like they're struggling. It's not like they're having difficulty in paying. I think for me, it really does appear to be nothing more than companies trying to squeeze its workers. And I know they're getting well compensated. And Amy, you can say that, like, okay, we get the 2 holidays, right? And we have other things that make up for it. Like, I don't know what those are. Like,
But-
maybe we get that in our union.
I mean,
don't
our
know.
vacation, the way we, have vacation is different than I think non-union accruing of vacation. But here's the thing. 9 of the 12 unions in this freight railway industry have already agreed to
By
what was
slim margins,
was
some of them.
recommended.
So it really hasn't been overwhelming. And a lot of those votes have been very slim. They just barely passed.
So then you have some still rejecting it. And I am always careful to differentiate between the unions and the big actors in the unions and the workers themselves, because we saw, I think, a huge rift during COVID between the teachers unions and Randy Weingarten and a lot of the individual teachers. Many teachers wanted to go back to work, were okay being in person, did not like having schools closed, especially schools in underserved areas. And a lot of the teachers' unions made demands, such as all the children being vaccinated before the FDA even approved vaccination for children 18 and under. So there were just demands made by union leaders in the teachers' union that did not necessarily reflect all teachers. So I would wonder, too, with railway workers, is the union perhaps representing a more extreme version of, the railway workers' demands, where a lot of railway workers are more moderate? I don't know, but that is something that does happen.
It's a good question. I would venture to guess most of them are on board with this because the average person can see if their companies are making record profits and if the compensation for employees is not growing in line with the profits. Yeah, they might have a better deal than other people have, but that doesn't mean they're still making what they should make. And we have this argument when it comes to professional athletes, and in particular baseball, when players were told that there was going to be a lockout, or if there's ever the threat of the strike, and people say, well, you're a multimillionaire. What business do you have striking? Well, it doesn't matter how much money you make. If you're working in that business, you see how much money your business is making, and you think, I'm not saying I should get all the money that comes in here as an employee, but what I am saying is that my salaries should rise in conjunction with your profits. If you continue to make more and more and more and more exponentially, and my salaries don't rise with that or inflation, I got a problem with that. And yeah, they might get compensated well, but this does appear to be, from a lot of the things that I have seen about the paid sick days. We do not have laws in this country that require businesses to give employees paid sick leave. And I know that there have been, for companies that employ 15 or more people, I think 15 is the number, there has been a push and there has been legislation proposed that you would have to give paid sick leave to people. And obviously that's been pushed back against in Congress by a lot of Republicans. And I think the goal is that we should get to that point where people shouldn't have to be afraid to call off work when they're sick.
Yeah.
Wouldn't the rest of us appreciate it if you've got the flu and you don't come into the damn office and give me the flu because you don't feel like you can take off work?
I do hate that.
Yes.
I do hate that. I know. And again, this is why when you look at how things are structured, whether it's, railway workers receive 3 weeks of paid vacation, 11 paid holidays. They do have a different time off policy with sick benefits, right? There is partial income for sick benefits. It's different than I'm taking today off because I have the flu. But again, I would need to look at the contract. It's always give and take.
Amy Markscore's Chris Ranji. Your text messages and calls are welcome at 314-436-7900. What's trending is next on the show.
The Dave Glover Show is excited to partner with Hardee's and Operation Food Search for the Holiday Food Drive. While supplies last, stop into any metro area Hardee's and make a donation of at least $1 to benefit Operation Food Search and receive a limited edition DGS Holiday Bumper Sticker. All donations will benefit Operation Food Search to help children and families facing food insecurities. Get all the details about the campaign, or if you want to make an online donation, head to the KMOX.com events page now.
Sure, we all love to have a clean home, but what about the things that you can't see that are making your home dirty? I'm talking about germs, bacteria, mold, and more. This is Debbie Monterey, and you really need to call Beam of St. Louis if you want a truly healthy home. Beam of St. Louis can provide you with a whole house HEPA air filtration system that provides HEPA pure air 24/7 in every room in your home. It'll help reduce allergy symptoms without a prescription. For the healthiest home possible, make sure you have a Beam Central Vacuum System. It removes 100% of the collected germs, bacteria, mold, and dust. So, a Beam Central Vacuum System and a Beam Whole House HEPA air filtration system. The folks at Beam of St. Louis are great to work with, fantastic customer service, one-day installation. Give them a call at 314-567-1515 or online at beamstl.com. That's Beam of St. Louis. You'll be glad you called.
Merry Christmas.
Wow, another popcorn tin. Gee, thanks.
Not this year. This time I went to Pop Pop Hooray.
You mean the place with over 50 flavors of popcorn?
Yep, and I filled your bucket with 3 flavors I knew you'd love.
Only 3?
I also got you this gift card so you can try as many flavors as you want.
Oh my God, I love it. This is the best gift ever.
Pop Pop Hooray, with locations in Ferguson and new location in St. Charles in the Bass Pro Shop Plaza or online at poppophooray.com. More flavor, more fun, endless popability.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444.
The greatest radio talk show host ever.
Now, more of the show.
What is it? What's happened?
What's going on? What do you know?
What just happened?
What happened?
You need to know.
Trending now on the show.
Trending is sponsored by Old Town Donuts in Florissant and Cottleville. Amy and Chris on the show today. Casey Anthony is trending, and I have to be honest with you. I do not remember exactly who she is. Like, I know that her daughter must have died, right? And she had something to do with it. And then I always get her mixed up with there's some other lady who maybe her daughter died too. I don't know. Like, this lady is somebody that I cannot, I cannot remember all the stuff. And I don't know if I paid as close attention or find myself as interested in this as other people. Am I wrong for not being as interested in the Casey Anthony thing like a lot of other people were?
I don't think so, but I'm saying that as someone who doesn't know a lot about the
Okay. Well, she must have a show coming out. Or a book, or there's a documentary that is coming out.
Do you know what's weird about trending is you have to always do some searching on why it's trending.
That is true because
sometimes it's very random.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Like Happy Birthday John is trending on Twitter, and I have no idea who John is.
Happy birthday, John. How's it spelled?
Jon.
You think it's K-pop? Because you know how it's always a K-pop birthday?
I don't think it's a K. There's not a K-pop John guy.
There might be. Andrew would know. Andrew knows all about the K-pop. All I know is that it's always somebody in K-pop's birthday. I have a very interesting list of trending. It's snowing.
Where's it snowing?
Nuclear. And U.S. versus Iran. Those are all trending for me. There is one that's trending that has to do with the Jewish people. And it's really upsetting and frustrating as to why this is trending, because you are seeing more and more on the right just anti-Semitic language and conspiracies being bandied about. And again, with Donald Trump hosting Kanye West, who brought Nick Fuentes.
Fuentes, by the way, is one of the people trending on Twitter.
The white supremacist Holocaust denier, as is Kanye West. And again, It's funny, but Ben Shapiro, he did tweet out one way to avoid accidentally hosting a vile, racist anti-Semite that you don't know is to not invite the vile, racist anti-Semite that you do know, because he might bring another one. And so again, the fact that we're having this conversation is so upsetting. Also, 75 years ago today, the UN voted there to be a Jewish state, 1947.
I don't know if you saw
State of
it.
Israel.
The podcaster Tim Pool, he does
Yeah.
nothing for me. I'm not a fan whatsoever of Tim Pool, but I did see that he had Kanye in, and I think was it Milo, whatever
Yiannopoulos? Yeah.
that guy? Yeah, I think he was there too. But anyway, Kanye's talking. He's doing his regular anti-Semitic thing, and Poole pushes back a little. I mean, it was very gently pushing back against that idea that they were controlling everything. And Kanye's like, wait, are you saying they're not? And then another guy interjects. And in the time the other guy interjects, Kanye gets up and walks out the room.
Really?
Like, he was so upset that somebody was suggesting that Jewish people are not in control of the entire world, that he left the room and didn't even finish I don't know if he came back in, but he left because he's a giant baby. It bothers me so much that Kanye West has turned into this. Like, he's always been a little nutso. Like, that's always there. There's always been this sense of, I am better than everybody, and I should be getting more accolades than I'm getting. And then he started to get those because his music it's real, especially, that first 10 years of his career, really brilliant stuff, like really, really good stuff. And even the stuff he does now doesn't sound like anybody else. But he is so crazy and narcissistic that it bums me out to see him like this.
Well, and I also think that the psychological phenomenon of being that narcissistic, thinking that he is above everyone else, really makes him gullible to conspiracy theories, because part of the satisfaction of believing a conspiracy theory is that you know
something other people don't.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
That you are not you're not a lemming. You're not just falling over the cliff with everyone else.
Which is
not a sheep.
It's a funny idea, because when you think about it, there are millions of those people and they all end up in the same place.
Yeah.
They all end up in the very same spot. How do they do that? Because they themselves are also followers. They just don't realize they're following idiots.
And what's so pernicious, too, about anti-Semitism, and again, Yair Rosenberg has written at length about this in The Atlantic and Tablet magazine. It's twofold, because it is both bigotry against a people, it's prejudice against a people, and it's a conspiracy theory about how the world works. So it's not just bigotry against people. It's a conspiracy theory about who's controlling the world. And it's a catch-22, because when you deny it, if people say, no, Jewish people aren't controlling the world, they're like, you would say that. The fact that they're denying it just proves that they run the world. If you ignore it, it just continues to proliferate. And again, even if Trump didn't realize what he was doing, because he focuses solely on himself and he wants attention no matter who it's from, he tapped into that dark underbelly of racism and prejudice and anti-Semitism and bigotry, and gave those people a literal seat at the table. A literal seat at the table, which emboldens people who should be stigmatized. Like, if you're a racist and a bigot, there should be like a kind of a stigma against that. Like, you're looked down on in society. But it gave them a boldness to speak that prejudice and bigotry and anti-Semitism and get it out there. I mean, my goodness, you have Kanye West, Nick Fuentes. I mean, Louis Farrakhan could have been at that table. I mean, it's disgusting, and this needs to be shut down.
Well, it needs to be shut down, and one of the ways to do it is for every prominent Republican, and it's got to be Republicans, because the Democrats are already denouncing it, and they have been, but every prominent Republican, and including and maybe especially Kevin McCarthy, but he doesn't want to do it because he needs the Trump base in order to be elected speaker. All these people need to firmly denounce the fact that Kanye and Nick Fuentes had dinner with Trump. All of them. And none of this like, well, he didn't know. Maybe No,
Yeah.
no, because you would not give that same courtesy to the other side.
Okay. In good news, something that's good news, it's Giving Tuesday, which is kind of nice. After Cyber Monday, you have Giving Tuesday. If you have a favorite charity that you want to give to, hey, guess what? I've got one.
Okay.
It's salarmy.us.
That's a good one.
/Amy Mark Scores. I have my
Oh.
virtual red kettle. So you can give to the Salvation Army and the money stays local. Just an extraordinary organization. And you just walk down the street, you talk to families who have been touched by the Salvation Army, who have been helped out by the Salvation Army. salarmy.us /Amy Mark Scores. You can give to my kettle.
That is awesome. I think you should have to be outside a store with a kettle. Why did they
year.
make you do it?
Every year I do.
U.S.-Iran. It is a huge match, and it's coming up this afternoon. Bill McDermott is coming up next to talk about it on the show on KMOX.
Home Sweet Home mission is to give underserved families a sense of pride and to improve the quality of their lives by providing basic household furnishings. To learn more, go to homesweethomestl.org.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Paramount Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Brown. The physicians at Paramount Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Paramount Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now, 314-720-8081. 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The voice of the Billikens, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet store. Does it feel like someone is stabbing a knife into your heel? Does your lower back hurt more and more as the day goes on?
I had to go nonstop from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day. Every time I stood up, pain just shot up my legs. Fortunately, I found the Good Feet store. I went to them after my doctor diagnosed me with plantar fasciitis. Now, thanks to the Good Feet store, I'm 100% pain-free.
Come to the Good Feet store this holiday season and give the gift of pain relief to you and your loved ones.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Deerbergs.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Flex spending and gift cards available. Some restrictions apply.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Give the gift that's hard to wrap, but easy to give. The Steel Holiday Gift Guide has outdoor power tools and more for everyone on your list. Visit your local steel dealer or go online to stihlusa.com/gift guide.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 11 o'clock, we've got a clear sky, 58 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour: funding for government agencies, the federal COVID response, and Ukraine's fight against Russia are all things the president is urging Congress to pass in the lame duck session.
There's a lot to do. With Republicans due to take control of the House in early January, the president brought the bipartisan leadership of Congress together to discuss what the House and Senate will do while the Democrats still hold the majorities in both houses. Mr. Biden said the first order of business should be a measure avoiding a rail strike.
Congress, I think, has to act to prevent it. It's not an easy call, but I think we have to do it.
Due to a lack of sick leave, workers in 4 unions rejected a deal approved by labor leaders, which the president now wants lawmakers to implement. Stephen Portnoy, CBS News, Washington.
All eyes are on Iran and the U.S. in the Soccer World Cup as they head onto the pitch in an environment of geopolitical tensions.
It will be the first time the two nations play each other in the world-renowned competition in 24 years. This match is expected to be more politically charged than ever. Iran's nationwide protests and its expanding nuclear program, amongst other issues, have pushed the match beyond the stadium and into geopolitics. Denying there are any political tensions in the game, Secretary of State Antony Blinken said,
"Let's let the athletes do their thing."
Despite the denial, he did admit he would be watching.
I will be cheering on Team USA.
I'm Karen Chamas.
In the meantime, basketball courts might be coming to Forest Park for the first time in the park's history.
Forest Park Forever Senior Vice President John O'Gorman says they've been working with the City of St. Louis Parks and Recreation Department on logistics planning. His group has a basketball in Forest Park survey on its website that will help them decide the look of the place.
Courts that have a recreational feel or a competitive feel. Are they ones that would have basketball baskets at varying heights or just at kind of the regulation rims or in other words, or smaller ones for kids? Would they be full courts or half courts?
O'Gorman says they have identified land near the Visitor Center as a preferred location for the courts. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
Forecasters are warning of severe weather across much of the United States. The National Storm Prediction Center says there's potential today for strong tornadoes that could stay on the ground for long distances, as well as flooding rains and hail the size of tennis balls. The storm outlook says parts of Louisiana and Mississippi will be at the highest risk for strong storms. The city of Houston has lifted an order that called for more than 2 million people to boil their tap water before drinking or using it. The order led to the closure of schools and businesses. The First Mid Bank and Trust Business Desk, getting paid what you're worth.
Only 32% of employees think their compensation is fair, according to a survey by consulting firm Gartner. They say perceptions of unfairness can be attributed largely to trust or lack thereof in their organizations. Toxic culture, inadequate work-life balance, and unfair experiences can all undermine that trust. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Dow from Stifel is down 120 points to 33,729. And we've got emergency vehicles on 44 going east at 100. The left lane is closed. Also a crash on 30 east past 270. The right lane is closed to stall 70 west to 270 on the right shoulder.
KMOX AccuWeather, windy and warm, up into the mid-60s this afternoon with early sun giving way to clouds and some rain and some thunderstorms this evening. Very gusty winds embedded in those. Sharply colder by daybreak as we end up in the upper 20s. Real feels plunge into the teens. And then with a cold, gusty wind and some sun, the real feels will stay in the 20s and 30s tomorrow, the high around 40. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Dean DeVore, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
It's a partly cloudy sky, 59 in Florissant. In St. Peter's, it's 60. In downtown at the Arch, 58 degrees. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Sponsored by Bed Bath & Beyond.
Hey, here's a holiday gift from Bed Bath & Beyond. Now through December 11th, get 25% off one item by texting GIFT to 236663. That's 236663. New offers every day at Bed Bath & Beyond. Exclusions apply. See website for details.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than $4? 314-441-4444.
I do love America.
Big day today, big match coming up at 1 o'clock. It is the United States versus Iran. The U.S. has to win today.
They has to win
in order to advance in the World Cup. We have been enjoying the group stage so far of the tournament. Maybe a little bit disappointing to not get that win against Wales, because that would have desperately very much improved the situation going into today's match. And to talk about that with us is Bill McDermott. He is a Missouri Sports Hall of Famer. He's the best soccer player I have ever known. And he is with us this morning on the show. Hello, Bill.
Hi, Chris. Is that because I'm the only one?
No. I grew up in the hotbed of soccer, Granite City, Illinois. And
Ruben Mendoza and Bobby Keogh and Gene Baker?
Yes.
You positively did.
Exactly. Wow. See? Gene Baker was the man. He was
yes.
Yeah, boys and girls coach. He was so good.
Oh, yeah. And the guy who really put it on the map and really started it was Ruben Mendoza. I don't know if you ever ran into him, Chris, but he was on the great Cootis teams from years past.
Oh, yeah.
on our continuing theme of World Cup, Bobby Keogh was also involved in Granite City, and he used to coach the men's United States national team as well as play on the men's national team.
Funeral homes always have really strong soccer and baseball teams, don't they?
And it's always a little ominous, Amy, when you're playing, you're lining up against a team called Kudus. Oh, what's that? Well, we're a funeral home.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, they
No,
always have a strong roster.
And Kudus is a legendary name in St. Louis.
It absolutely is. Okay, Bill, speaking of hotbeds of soccer, and I had to
Yes, ma'am.
look this up again to see if I had somehow looked it up wrong. But not only are there 2 players from St. Louis on the U.S. men's national team, but those 2 players both went to St. Dominic High School. Is that right?
Can't be accurate, can it, Amy?
No.
Can't be accurate,
That's
but it
what I
is.
thought. It can't be right. Like, that seems odd.
Yeah, St. Dominic over the years has turned out some fabulous players, in particular, and obviously because they've reached the pinnacle of their profession. Well, first of all, they're playing overseas and playing for good clubs, namely Tim Ream and Josh Sargent. But when you get on the United States national team and furthermore represent your country in the World Cup, you have reached the absolute pinnacle of your sport. And anybody who's grown up anywhere in near and around the St. Louis area, that is one of their main ambitions. Truth be told, anybody who's ever started to play soccer anywhere in the United States has always grown up to try to represent their country. It's simply because the World Cup is such an immense spectacle.
So let's talk about where the U.S. Team is right now, and I guess it's good to revisit Friday, revisit the game against England. Thought they looked great. You know what? They were not the favorite in that one, so to play the way they did was encouraging.
Very much so, Chris. For good stages, large stages of the game, they were clearly the better team, especially at the outset of the game, where England seemed content with absolutely unconcerned with winning, but determined not to lose. They were playing not to lose that game. Now, there were moments when they came alive, when England themselves came alive and showing that they have indeed won a World Cup. But coming into this World Cup, they were considered to be one of the favorites because they played so well in 2018 in Russia, ending up to be a semifinalist. But they showed no signs of that whatsoever against the United States. They were short on ideas. They were not patient with the ball. Their top players did not really show up to play at all. Harry Kane, I still don't think is in top form. Whereas for the United States, I think Christian Pulisic played one of his best games ever in the United States uniform. And their younger midfielders, Tyler Adams and Weston McKennie and Yunus Musa, McKennie in particular, had golden opportunities. So it remains to be seen today if Josh Sargent will be inserted back into the starting lineup. Tim Ream will definitely be at left center back. He's not going anywhere. He hasn't put a foot wrong yet for the United States. And he summed it up perfectly. He said, today's game, it's just a knockout stage game, one round early. And that's a perfect summation of what today's game is.
Well, for this U.S. men's national team, 18% of which is from St. Dominic High School, 18% of the roster. So do you see them facing any extra challenges on the pitch today because of the non-soccer tensions going on right now, whether it was the U.S. Soccer Federation's social media post with the Iranian flag and any other geopolitical strain that they are feeling?
Good question, Amy, and you have to bring it up. You'd be naive not to mention something about this because it seems like every World Cup there's some political intrigue of some nature involving two clubs somehow, some way, and it just turns out to be it's United States and Iran again, like it was in 1998 when Iran entered the World Cup and won their first World Cup game over the United States by the score of 2-1, knocking the team out. At that particular World Cup, the United States team was in a shambles for a variety of different reasons. But this team in particular, for 90 minutes, this afternoon, beginning at 1 o'clock Central Time. They are concerned with one thing and one thing only. I just quote Tim Ream again. He said, if you're not ready to play in this particular game when we know full well exactly what we have to do to advance, well, then you have issues. Yes, we know what's going on around the world. We accept that. We admire teams for having stances and their opinions on matters. Of course, everybody does. However, the United States is in Qatar to represent our country on the soccer field. And that's what this team is going to do for 90 minutes.
So when the group stage started, a lot of people talking about what the U.S. needs to do and how they need to play. And I recall a lot of people saying, well, it's going to come down to goal differential. So just going to have to hope that they beat Iran by multiple goals. Like that was the talk. It seemed like a week and a half ago. Well, now it's almost like, well, are they even going to win? So, so as you look at the two teams comparably, how are they?
They're similar in the ways that they attempt to counterattack. In particular, Chris, Iran they'll play in a real tight formation, and they will try to break out of the back as quickly as possible and do the counterattack. The United States will do that as well. Both teams try to press up high to get the ball back as high up the field as possible. But what the United States is going to have to do, other than win, obviously, is to, in some way, enforce their offense on Qatar. They're going to have to come at the Qatar immediately. And some of the players were talking about it in a press conference yesterday after training, that we're going to have to instill our will and go after this team like we know that we have to. And we got to do that immediately. Pressure on Qatar. Qatar does not want to go home, literally walk across the border, for all intents and purposes, and not be in the second round of the World Cup. Whereas the United States, likewise, not having qualified in 2018, that's exactly what this team, the redeemed team, wants to do. So they do indeed have similarities. Iran can be much more electric, more quickly on offense, and they proved that against Wales. And that's why today, that's why this group is up for grabs when Iran came from out of nowhere to win that game over Wales.
When you talk about the aggressiveness of the U.S. men's team, they are young. Are you concerned about them being aggressive without being undisciplined?
I don't think so, Amy, because I think they totally do realize the scenario of the situation. Another yellow card for 2 or 3 other players, and they're out for the next round because they changed the rules and are carrying over. They wouldn't be able to play in the next round. So they'll be very wary of just that. But some of the World Cup, depending upon the referee who's in charge, some of the games have really been foul-filled. They've gotten out of hand. Some most lately. Neymar is out of the World Cup as of right now because of a blatant foul on him. But I think the United States team, as young as they are, to follow up on your question, and that is extremely young, they've played in some top competitions with their club teams around the world. Granted, it is dramatically and totally different than playing in a World Cup. But as opposed to other young teams, for instance, the 1990 team that qualified for the World Cup by Bobby Gansler doing it with mirrors because they were literally all college players. This team is much more experienced simply because play at their club level.
Bill, how nervous should we be today?
Don't be nervous.
Okay.
Don't be nervous. Realize full well that the United States is much better than what they have been at the past at other World Cups. With the exception of 2002. I think that was an absolute, every country has their golden generation of players, and this is probably the new golden generation for this team. But the 2002 team, I was extremely confident. I thought they were going to make it to the final, as a matter of fact. But this team, you could be confident in this team, in particular, Chris, for this particular game, but also if they would lose and don't advance, the 2026 World Cup to be held in the United States, Mexico, and Canada, all of these players who are in their early 20s will all be of the prime World Cup playing age. And it's 25, 26, 27, right in that general vicinity. So one way or another, you can have confidence in this team.
That's very, very exciting.
Yeah, but I can't wait 4 years.
I know.
Yeah, I mean,
Who
it's a
knows
long
where
time
we'll
off.
be by then.
And plus, Amy's been walking around making me nervous all day. Like, she's freaking me out. She
Pacing
won't
back
calm
and forth.
down. Yeah.
Hey, we did have a texter. And by a texter, I mean my mom, Mrs. Mark Scores. And she said Gene Baker was my dad's soccer coach in high school. My dad played soccer for Riverview Gardens. And that was
Riverview Gardens, that's where Gene started before he went to Granite City. Gene's a very good friend. I know him originally when he was playing soccer at St. Louis University.
Uh-huh.
And as a matter of fact, Gene was nationally famous for, let's say, well, what did Andy Warhol say, for 15 minutes? Maybe it was a little longer. Back in Sports Illustrated, decades ago, when he was playing for St. Louis U, there was a full-page picture of him and Gary McBrady, a St. Louisan, who went to Michigan State. It was a big rivalry at the time. Big full-page picture, story about a game between St. Louis U and Michigan State, title of which was Local Boys Make Good, because most of the players from Michigan State were from St. Louis, and all the St. Louis U players were from St. Louis. So, yeah, Gene, everybody knows about Gene Baker, positively.
Yeah. Well, and then you probably know this name too. My dad played at Rockhurst University under Tony Tocco.
Tony Tocco. Oh, my word. The inimitable Tony Tocco, who is still
Yes.
at Rockhurst in his, fourth, maybe fifth decade.
Yeah.
He's still coaching. He's been coaching so long, everything was in black and white when he started. Thank you.
I think my dad was his second team, either his first team or his second team. Yeah. I mean, back in the 70s, and he has some crazy stories under
And
Coach
he is
Tocco.
he is a unique one. He's head of the accounting department at Rockhurst too, and knows numbers like nobody else. He's really proficient at accounting, but then he brings that same intensity, and I do mean intensity,
Yes.
to the soccer field.
I think one time they beat a team, Rockhurst University beat a team, but didn't beat them by enough goals. And so Tony made them run laps around the field and the losing team because they didn't play well enough.
Our twin daughters went to Rockhurst, and they had an accounting class their freshman year, and they knew that I was friends with Tony Tocco. And Tony came in. He was not their accounting teacher at the time; was a different teacher, but he was substituting. To which they say to me when Tony finishes the class, "Dad, what is it with Mr. Tocco? Wow, he's a strange one."
That's amazing. Bill McDermott, we expect to be talking again soon after the win, or maybe before the next game. At some point, we're going to talk a lot. That's my intention.
Sounds good.
All right.
Sounds good. That'd be great. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Amy. Bye now.
That is Bill McDermott. He is a St. Louis soccer legend, and he says that we don't have to worry today.
I love
Don't
it.
be nervous. And also, Granite City is a soccer. It's the center of the universe for soccer. And Gene Baker,
Yeah.
awesome coach.
Yeah. There you go. And okay, when we come back,
What?
Ranj, I have a friend going on a cruise, and she has a fear that has haunted her whole life, and she is terrified of this fear before she goes on this cruise.
That's next on the show.
2 ways to listen to KMOX in your car. 98.7 in the city, 1120 AM further out. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
How would you like to come home to a bartender who will fix you any cocktail you want? I'll have an old fashioned.
I'll have a margarita.
Now you can with the Bartesian Home Cocktail Maker. Bartesian is a sleek machine the size of a coffee maker that makes premium cocktails at the touch of a button. Choose from over 50 different cocktails, from classics to the most exotic premium cocktails served in the best bars today. You'll always get freshly mixed, perfectly balanced cocktails with the Bartesian Cocktail Maker. And now get Bartesian's best Black Friday deal ever at bartesian.com/cocktail. Entertaining? The Bartesian is ideal for parties. No need to stock all kinds of individual mixers for complicated recipes. Every guest gets the cocktail of their choice in seconds. The Bartesian makes a wonderful gift for anyone who loves a fine premium cocktail. Now get Bartesian's best Black Friday deal ever. It's available right now, only at Bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail for Bartesian's best deal ever. Only at Bartesian.com/cocktail.
Hey guys, Glover here, and I see clearly thanks to Doctors Birdie and Malhotra, and you can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
Let's talk real estate for a minute. The St. Louis market is kind of tricky for home sellers right now, with home values going down and not selling as quickly. Now is not the time to risk losing precious equity on your home. This is Debbie Monterey, and I always recommend calling Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria's the best. She's experienced every type of market, both good, great, and the not so good. So before you list your home for sale, call Gloria, and here's why. Gloria Liu will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed to price and time frame, or she'll buy it herself, guaranteed in writing. Gloria already has the buyers, thousands of buyers in her database. In fact, your home may already be sold. Gary and Angela called Gloria and sold their home even before it listed because Gloria had several buyers looking for a home in that area. Call Gloria Liu today at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or find her online at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different? How? You sell high commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee, structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, you really do look out for your clients.
That's because our top priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. It might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss.
Local news and information direct to your smart speaker. Just say, play KMOX.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores here to talk about our fears. Because, Chris, I have...
Is this that podcast?
Oh, my gosh.
Whatever it is,
Yeah,
that like the fears or
yeah, your
the
weird fears.
Yeah.
Don't listen to that podcast. I know it's Odyssey, but you can just listen to us.
Yeah, because we'll tell you about all of
We'll
ours.
tell you all the weird fears. So this one, I thought specifically of Ranch because my friend Autumn is going on a cruise, and she combined in the story that she was telling me two of your fears, boats, and then just a lifelong fear that follows her everywhere she goes.
Yeah.
So she's going on a 15-day cruise. It leaves LA and will go all the way to Hawaii, go around Hawaii, and then come back. That is a really, really long cruise.
It's a long time.
Did you know that LA to Hawaii is the longest overwater flight in the world? Because
LA to Hawaii?
LA to Hawaii, because on all the other flights, you hit Greenland or Russia or some other land mass.
Yeah.
But LA to Hawaii is the longest overwater flight in the world. So she's taking a boat there. Guess what her biggest fear is before this cruise?
Overflowing toilets.
Actually, you're not far off. A bowel obstruction.
See? I get it. I get that fear.
Yes. So she's always had a fear of bowel obstructions. I have had a fear. So
What a specific thing. Like, I'm afraid of bowel obstructions.
Yes, because I've always been afraid of severe constipation. And I know I said the first three fears in my life are mold and mildew, gum disease, and going to prison for a crime I didn't commit. But right up there is severe constipation, because one time I visited my grandma in the hospital. I don't know, she was in the hospital a lot. I was like 7 years old, and she was sharing a room, and she told me, see that lady, in the bed next to me? I'm like, yes, Grandma. Wow.
Oh, come on.
She hasn't pooped in a month, and she could die.
What?
And when you say that to a 7-year-old, I mean, the fear of hell itself did not strike me. Like that lady that hadn't had a bowel movement in a month and was on the verge of death. I can think of very few worse ways to die.
She hasn't pooped in a month. She could die. Let me.
So this is a very real concern. So my friend Autumn, who works in the medical industry, by the way, and sees bowel obstructions way more than she would like to, has this fear. And so she has been prepping accordingly.
Well, how do you prep for that?
That's exactly what you think it would be.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Well, just have a lot of pro and prebiotics. You'll be okay.
Yeah. But she's like, can you imagine being on a cruise with a bowel obstruction?
I would be more concerned when you're cooped up with a bunch of people for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'd be more concerned with stuff like that or, norovirus.
Right.
There was a time that a bunch of people who worked when I was working with the White Sox, they had a cafeteria and a guy who, his name was Roy, I think. And I wasn't there for lunchtime, but
Yeah.
everybody ate lunch in this cafeteria. And one of the workers must have, I don't know, who knows, but everybody got norovirus. They said people were like,
no.
They said people were on the floor of their offices. They felt so sick. Some people went to the hospital. Like that's the kind of thing that I guess would make me really nervous about being on one of those. But I also kind of want to do it. Like I kind of want to do a cruise.
15-day cruise.
Not 15 days.
Would you cross the Atlantic? It's like 7 days. I don't know.
I
how
feel like a
long it
lot
is.
of bad things have happened crossing the Atlantic
That's right.
on big ships.
Yeah.
So I kind of don't want to.
Yeah.
But I'm not entirely opposed to it.
Would you rather take a boat to England or to Hawaii? Think of it. The oceans involved. The
Yeah.
potential death involved.
That's a good. I don't know. That's a good question.
Mhm.
I really want to visit the UK, so I might pick that. But I
Mhm.
want to see Hawaii too. I don't know.
Just fly there.
I guess we
Less
could.
chance of a bowel obstruction on a
Oh
plane.
my God! That's
It's a legit fear. You're afraid of being in a little boat next to a big boat.
yeah. It's terrifying. I just watched a video about that recently. It was bad. I'll tell you about it later. Amy and Chris on the show.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit Truehold.com and discover how much Truehold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
KMOX News Time is 11:29. Donate a car, get a tax receipt, and tickets to the St. Louis Aquarium at mersgoodwill.org.
Like a personal shopper, Health Markets can help find a Medicare Advantage plan that's right for you. Enrollment ends December 7th. Visit shop.healthmarkets.com. Health Markets Insurance Agency, Inc. is licensed as an insurance agency in all 50 states and D.C. Not all agents are licensed to sell all products. Service and product availability varies by state. Sales agents may be compensated based on a consumer's enrollment in a health plan. No obligation to enroll. We do not offer every plan available in your area. Any information we provide is limited to those plans we do offer in your area. Please contact Medicare.gov or 1-800-MEDICARE to get information on all your options.
Do you know that Goodwill has been serving our community for over 100 years? It's true. Goodwill believes that everyone deserves a rewarding job, despite having a disability or disadvantage. With your help, they are able to serve thousands of people each year throughout the bi-state area with employment services. Every time you shop or donate, you are helping to fulfill their mission of changing lives through the power of work. Thank you for giving hope.
At 11:30, some clouds and 59 degrees downtown at the Arch. This just in, a Walmart employee who survived last week's mass shooting at the store in Chesapeake, Virginia, has filed a $50 million lawsuit against the company. Chinese protesters are using a new tactic as they take to the streets.
They shout, "Go now," a heretofore unheard of demand that President Xi Jinping step down over his government's COVID restrictions and their tough, often heavy-handed enforcement. But now protesters in several cities have been spotted holding up blank sheets of paper in silent protest, a tactic used in part to evade censorship or arrest. Vicky Barker, CBS News, London.
A rare late November outbreak of severe weather, including tornadoes, could impact millions of people today in states like Mississippi, Louisiana, and Arkansas. Meteorologist Craig Allen's following.
Not only could these severe thunderstorms produce tornadoes, but there is also a big threat for strong, damaging winds as well as large hail encompassing most of that area across the Tennessee Valley on down into the Deep South, down towards the Gulf Coast.
Traffic-wise now, we've got a crash on Illinois 3 going south at 270. Also, 67 going north is closed past Edian Park Road. Lindbergh North closed past Edian Park Road, according to MoDOT. Emergency vehicles on 44 going east past 100 Manchester's got the left lane closed. And this afternoon, windy and warm with some early sun giving way to clouds. High of about 65 degrees. Periods of rain and a thunderstorm from late afternoon into the evening. Could be some gusty winds for a time. Then it clears and dries out and turns sharply colder by daybreak with an overnight low 25 to 30 degrees. Real field temperatures plunging into the teens. It's 59 degrees at the moment downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
If you or someone you know is experiencing a suicide, mental health, or substance use crisis, call, text, or chat 988. There is hope. The Lifeline works. 988 for 24/7 confidential support. A message from the Missouri Department of Mental Health.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Ask yourself, what am I doing to guarantee I will have adequate, inflation-hedged income that I may never outlive? Why not make sure your future income is growing and may last as long as you do? Call for your complimentary retirement and income book at 844-513-SAFE. That's 844-513-7233. And also join me, Ben Coons, for the Retirement and Income Radio Show, heard here every Saturday at 3 p.m. on KMOX Radio.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-5555. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, behind on taxes houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-5555. That's 314-782-5555.
Your home of the Cardinals.
Arenado swings and hits it deep to left field. That ball is out of here.
The Billikens.
Jumper. Yes! Billikens win!
The Chiefs.
Touchdown! Kansas City!
We are America's sports voice. KMOX.
11:34 on the show. We are halfway through today. We're halfway through the program. Amy, Marks, Kors, Chris, Ron, G. Again, we're on until 1 o'clock these days, starting this week. And then the Dave Glover show comes in. Amy and I sit in with them. Kevin is on that show now. So Kevin is here. You, me, Dave, Rachel, and Andrew. And that's what's happening from 1 to 2.
What are we calling that?
You know, it's a free-for-all. A summit. It's like a summit. You
Is
know,
it
a
a
summit of
summit?
all the...
It sounds awfully formal. I don't think you talk about, Magic the Gathering and breast milk at a summit.
This is what happens with the G7 or G8 or whatever it is now.
Mm-hmm.
That's
You
what
think
happens.
so?
Yeah, of course.
It's probably because of Justin Trudeau. That guy, real goof.
It probably is.
Yeah.
What else could it possibly be?
Not sure.
You could follow the show at the show KMOX on Twitter. And of course, you can text us at 314-436-7900. We got a few text messages when we were talking about the labor issues.
Okay.
What's happening with the rail workers
Mhm.
and the possibility of a strike, and the government trying to avoid there being a strike and having to step in for it. That's a number of these texts, and again, you have the phone number to do it. This texter says, by your logic, if wages should go up with profits when they rise, then wages should go down as profits fall. If the company is doing better, then they should be allowed to make more because of that. Well, those are actually two different texts, but it's the same sort of mindset. And my answer to that was, well, when profits do go down, the workers do pay for it because they have layoffs. That's what happens.
Yeah,
People lose their jobs.
There are layoffs. And I think, too, when you're looking at the wages and then the profits the companies are making, it's not necessarily directly related, like it's tied to a string. I think you look at trends over years, maybe over 5 years, maybe over a decade, and say, has our increase of wages, has it kept pace with the increase of profits to a point that makes sense? Because you could look at certain industries where the minimum wage is just not increasing with the cost of living. I know this is different because like public schools, it's not a company. But when you look at the teachers' wages overall and the trend of the cost of living, those wages could go up. Now, when you're looking at a company and a company that is making a lot of profit, of course, a company will always be incentivized to make as much profit as possible. But I think what they'll also learn is it behooves the company to have happy workers.
Right.
So what you don't see is that, at least you're seeing this less and less, is as a company that will just abuse its workers to the point that they're leaving the company, that they're unhappy, that it hurts production. Ultimately, happy workers is good for any business. Unions have helped workers have that leverage to throw their weight around. So, yeah, a company can continue to make profits, be incentivized by that, but also look at wages and see, do they need to be increased? And by the way, these boards have suggested, and the carriers agreed to, a 24% wage increase over the course of 5 years.
Yes. But I don't think the issue with the rail workers is about pay.
It's not.
Because your quality of life, even if you're well paid, you can make $100,000, but your quality of life can suck if you can never be off, or if you're working 30 straight days all the time.
Which,
or
again,
if you're sick and you can't get off work. That's not good. I mean, the money is good, but that is not necessarily good.
And they do have good vacation. They have more vacation days, more holidays than the average union worker or worker in the transportation industry. So there are other benefits, platinum health benefits that they have. And they also have a partially paid sick provision. What it looks like they're not happy with is that easier, hey, I have the flu, I have a fever, I can't come into work today, I need that day to be paid, rather than that be a vacation day. Again, all of these things are negotiated. You give and take, but we'll see. I mean, 9 of the 12 unions did agree to the proposals made by both the Presidential Emergency Board and the National Mediation Board. As you said, they passed by slim margins, but I do wonder, how well are these unions representing the majority of the workers' feelings towards this?
Well, I don't think it's always union bosses. And again, some of those unions that did agree to it by very slim margins. So it wasn't like an overwhelming mindset that they wanted to move forward with the proposals. And there's this text from a 636 who says things really need to be put into perspective. What's the average teacher make in Missouri? Okay, that's a great question.
We brought that up. It's like low 30s.
Low 30s. But that's not the point.
Right.
The point shouldn't be, well, we're doing better than you guys, so we should be happy. No, that's not how it should work. The way it should work is everybody should be doing better. Teachers in Missouri should be doing better. We talked to somebody about that a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember off the top of my head now who it was, but the average starting teacher salary is like $35,000, which is crazy to me. That should be a whole lot better. And it should never be a this or that thing. Well, you guys do fine, so you shut up because look at what teachers make. Like, well, no, you should all be doing better. Like, that's the reality of it. But I don't think enough people look at it that way.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we've talked about this so many times, the whataboutism, or even the Iranian reporter who asked the captain of the men's team, did he have trouble playing for a country where there is racial injustice? And again, you have to go back to equivalency. There's no moral equivalency between the oppressive theocratic regime in Iran and the democracy in the United States. Does it mean the United States is perfect? Absolutely not. Does it mean we need to improve? Yes. Are we making progress? Yes. And I would rather be a woman in the United States than I would be in Iran, where they have the morality piece and the morality police and women don't have any rights. What does this have to do with the wages of the railway workers and the teachers? It's again looking at those industries in context. And of course, a public school teacher working as an employee is working with a different entity than the private railway companies. And you can look at pros and cons of both, but it doesn't mean that just because teachers don't have a perfect setup, that railway workers shouldn't push to better their own.
That's correct. This text from a 314, I worked in construction for 46 years. We did not have paid sick days, and we were union. You took off, you didn't get paid. Well, that's the point, is that you shouldn't have had to do that. Like, I don't care how well you're compensated. There should not be a threat of being fired, for example, because you took off work.
Yeah.
Which is, by the way, one of the issues here as well. And this other texter says it's not about not getting paid for taking time off. It is about if you take off even unpaid, you can be fired. And some of these rail workers have been dealing with that kind of situation. So, it's unfortunate because we're talking about these rail companies, again, making record profits. They're doing very, very well. So I don't know. I believe in the worker, and I think that people, we're talking about blue collar people here. We're talking about, I know sometimes that some of these guys and women are making about $100,000, and that's a lot of money, but not all of them are.
Yeah. And again, I know, like you said, you believe in the worker. I feel like I need more information because I feel like things are very rarely so clear cut where you have good guy, bad guy situation, especially with these railway carriers. They have been working with the National Mediation Board. They have been working with the Presidential Emergency Board. This is a Democratic administration and pro-union administration with Joe Biden and the Democrats on those boards.
Yeah.
And so I don't see it as perhaps your generic, well, the Republicans are pro-business and anti-worker. That's not what this situation is.
You know what, though? I don't know if I might push back against that a little bit, because I think what this administration is doing right now is they see the fallout of, like, I got to go back and look at the numbers, but it's a crazy amount of money that the economy loses per day if these rail workers go on strike.
Well, because it's 30% of freight movement in the country.
So what they are doing is they see the fallout from that, and I think they're willing to circumvent the unions to prevent that, because that would be a huge problem for the administration.
That is true.
And here's the number: $2 billion per day if a nationwide rail shutdown were to happen. He would rather avoid that, because it's politically advantageous to him to avoid that, than he would be on the side of the unions.
Sure. No, that's absolutely fair that they're pro-union, but man, it would be devastating to his administration, and the optics would be terrible politically for him if 30% of freight movement stopped in the United States, with all of the consequential inflation, supply chain issues, costs rising. Would be devastating.
And the rail companies want him to step in. That's what they want. Amy and Chris are on the show.
Winter Wonderland, presented by Byerly RV at Tillis Park, is open now through December 30th. Enjoy more than 1 million dazzling lights with holiday characters and festive scenes while listening to your favorite Christmas songs. You'll never see anything like Winter Wonderland at Tillis Park. More details at KMOX.com. And happy holidays from Washington University Orthopedics, Neighbors Credit Union, Kirkwood Fence, Design Air Heating and Cooling, and Telly Tire and Auto Centers.
The St. Louis Blues official retailer, STL Authentics, is your go-to source for authentic team jerseys and exclusive gear you won't find at big box stores or other e-retailers. Reverse retro gear will be a hot holiday gift this season, so be sure to get some merch for the Blues fan in your life before it sells out. Or give them the gift of choice with an STL Authentics gift card. Get your holiday shopping done now at the Team Store at Enterprise Center or STLauthentics.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
Furnish hope right here in St. Louis. Donate your unneeded furniture and household goods to Home Sweet Home. Visit www.homesweethomestl.org to learn more.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 314-441-4444. Back to the show.
Yeah, the show
on KMOX.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark scores as we are joined by Joe Lundberg, AccuWeather meteorologist, because, Chris, it's going to rain.
Oh, no.
Okay, so I think, is this a pretty heavy rain, Joe? What should we expect? All I keep seeing is there are going to be severe winds, high winds, and a big temperature change. So I imagine some precipitation along with that.
There will be some precipitation. I don't think there's any question about that, but we're going to be on the fringe of the worst of it, the severe weather aspect, which is going to affect areas of extreme southeast Missouri, really more eastern Arkansas, western and central Tennessee, down into Louisiana. That's where the heart of the severe weather is going to be with the storm. That doesn't negate what we're going to see here, but again, we're going to be in the fringe of where the severe weather is going to end up being. What we'll see is a couple of showers, maybe a gusty thunderstorm, and then the front will whip through the area, and strong winds will blow across the area. And those winds could gust as 40 to 50 miles per hour and drive in much colder air. So it's going to go from feeling like spring this afternoon in the mid-60s to the depths of winter. Temperatures will be in the 20s tomorrow morning.
Do you think that there will be ice on the ground tomorrow? Would that be an issue at all for people's commute?
I don't think so. I think what will happen is that the wind will dry things out very quickly behind this frontal system early tonight, and while the temperature will drop, precipitously through the overnight hours, I think the rain showers are probably done by about 9-10 o'clock tonight, and then there'll be several hours to dry things out before the temperatures get below the freezing mark. So icing conditions shouldn't be an issue tomorrow morning's commute.
All right, so in terms of locally preparation over the next few days and next week, what do people need to keep in mind?
Well, I think that once this cold air comes in, it's here for a couple of days, then it retreats. Temperatures by Friday should be back up into the mid and upper 50s. Another front will come through the area Friday night. There may not be much more than a shower with that, and then another shot of chillier air for the start of the weekend, although not quite as strong as what we'll see here tonight and tomorrow. And then we'll probably see some more showers ahead of the next storm system sometime Sunday into Monday.
So how unusual is that for this time of year?
It's not all that uncommon, really. I mean, we're just at this time of the year, you tend to see a lot of fronts going from one after another after another. So basically, we're going to talk about 3 and 1 this afternoon and evening. Some showers and maybe a thunderstorm ahead of it. There'll be the second one that'll come through later in the week, and then probably a third one Sunday night or into Monday.
I know you got to get going, Joe, but the last thing for you, and I'm sure you're being asked this question, and it happens every winter. What kind of winter should we expect here in St. Louis?
That's a great question. We're leaning toward a somewhat milder than average winter. Doesn't mean we won't get any snow, but a milder than average winter. But there's probably going to be a couple of opportunities for storms along the way that can deliver that wintry stuff, and more likely during the second half of the winter than during the first half.
All right. Joe Lundberg, AccuWeather meteorologist. Thanks for hanging out with us for a few moments.
Not a problem. Have a great day.
That was Joe Lundberg on the Quiver River guest line. today. So I really I like snow. I'm a
Mhm.
snow person.
Mhm.
Some would
because
say I'm a
you-
snowman.
You
What?
are a snowman, and you like Christmas, and I
love
like
Christmas.
Christmas.
Yes.
And Kevin, who used to be on the show,
Oh, he's a Grinch.
who's no longer with us.
Yeah. Well, he's
Mm.
not dead.
Well, to me, he is, but I think he's anti-snow, anti-Christmas, and I think that's what's the point of the cold weather if it's not going to snow?
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Mhm.
I love it. I love the snow so much. I know people don't like to drive in it, and yeah, it's not the most fun. I've had mishaps in the snow, driving in the
Have you?
snow. Yeah, there was the time I couldn't get up into my parking lot because my car couldn't handle it.
Mhm.
I'm not driving a four-wheeler around here. But other than that, I love the snow. I love Christmas time. I love the holiday season, and I'm ready for it. I just wish we would get more.
Do you know what I don't like though? The wind. This wind that's coming in, the
Oh,
40
wear
to
a coat.
50 mile an hour winds.
You're fine. Wear a coat.
It's okay. Listen, if you spend a lot of time outside, wind is stressful. That's why I don't like reading on the beach. Everybody talks about reading on the beach. The beach is windy, it's sandy, it's sunny, you're sticky because you've got sunscreen on, and the pages, it's just too bright, and the pages are flapping. I can never read on the beach.
Get a Kindle.
First of all, no, I'm not going to read on a screen, but is
Why?
it hard to see?
No, they're
Because it's
like
that low light.
yeah, they're like paper.
Yeah, I'm not a big Kindle person.
Have you tried one?
I've seen one.
I'm sure that there was a Cyber Monday deal for Kindle.
Would your Kindle get smudgy from the sunscreen? Because
Nah,
you're
you're okay.
you're all greasy. You're greasy. You pick up your Kindle. You're swiping the pages.
You have a
There-
towel?
They're going to be fingerprints all
You
over
have a
it.
towel. You're fine.
Wind is not my favorite.
Okay. Well, I think you're being a real big baby about this. So what we just learned is that there's going to be maybe a little bit of rain and it's windy.
Yeah, I think that's what we learned.
So be careful or something. I don't know. I don't know. Oh God, what's going to happen? Well, it's going to be like 50 and maybe a little rain and windy. So should we
Cancel
batten
plans?
down the hatches? Like, nah, you'll be all right.
Do you
Oh,
know how to batten down a hatch?
I don't know.
What
It's on a
exactly?
ship.
What's the verb? Like, I know what the verb batten is, but how do you batten something down?
Well, it's a hatch on a ship.
Well, I understand that. You batten the hatches.
Yeah.
But do you understand? If I said, show me the motion of battening, could
That
you?
I know I don't know what the motion of battening is.
That's what I thought. That's what I
So,
thought.
uh,
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, more text messages are welcome. 314-436-7900. I'm like, oh man, but are we getting like a foot of snow?
I
Like,
know.
nah, it's gonna be a little cooler than normal.
So Chris Myhill, the former executive producer of the Charlie Brennan Show, was a snow truther. He was a truther. We'd have, Dean DeVore, one of the meteorologists, on talking about the snow that we're inevitably going to get. And then, of course, everyone in St. Louis freaks out, and you get all of the makings for French toast. You have to get bread and eggs and milk, and in large quantities, and immediately upon hearing this forecast. And Myhill would just sit back in his chair and shake his head because he would always say, it's not happening. It's not happening. This happens every year. Snowmageddon, it's going to hit us. It's going to be terrible. And then maybe we see 3 snowflakes.
Well, then it does happen. I mean, he's right to an extent that sometimes there's this over cautious
Mhm.
feeling.
Mhm.
And I think that's okay because the other end of it is worse. The other end of you didn't warn us this was going to happen, and now we're really angry at you
Yeah.
is worse than we told you it was going to be really bad and it turned out to not be so bad.
I guess so. Hey, really quickly, if we have any police officers, 314-436-7900, you can call or text in. I have a question. I'm a rule follower. I don't know how to break the law. I don't break the law. I don't commit crime. I'm a rule follower. I like rules, order, all of that. When I was driving to work last year during an actual snowmageddon, I was on Clayton Road. The entire road was covered in snow. You could not see the lines. There were no other cars out because it was 5:07 in the morning. It was very early. And my car was the only car on the road for as far as you could see. And I thought I should do donuts on Clayton Road because I thought that sounds exciting. That sounds off brand for me. That's a breaking the law. Of course I didn't, because I'm scared to break the
Were
law.
you by yourself?
I was totally by myself. And there was no one on the road. If a cop had seen me do a donut, even one donut on Clayton Road, what would have happened? Would I have gone to jail?
Jail, no. I bet they wouldn't have pulled you over for it, though.
314-436-7900. I
Because
need to
they're like,
know
I'm-
what would have happened. I didn't do it because I'm a rule follower. I chickened out. I didn't want to go to jail. I also don't like breaking the rules.
You're not. You can bend the rules a little bit.
That felt like breaking the rules. A
That's
donut?
That's not breaking a rule.
That would have been the most illegal,
It's-
worst thing I've ever done in my whole life.
When it has snowed that much, it's just anarchy out there.
Yeah, that's true.
I think. Well, I shouldn't say this because I don't know for sure, but I think you can do whatever you want when it snows.
I thought you could do whatever you want if you turn your hazard lights on.
Oh, that's great. That's a really great thing because you're saying the hazard lights are telling other people
I'm not going to follow the rules.
I am aware
Yeah.
that this is a dangerous situation.
The hazard lights say, listen, whatever you're expecting me to do, whatever the normal protocol for driving is,
I'm
it's
not
going to
to.
happen.
Yeah, right. A texter says use a stylus with the Kindle, and that way you don't have to get the fingerprints on the thing. I
That's
didn't know there was a
smart.
stylus with a Kindle.
I didn't either, but what about the donuts on Clayton Road? Because it
I-
would have been my most exciting story in my whole life. It would have been the worst thing I've ever done.
Yeah, because you were monumentally boring.
That's exactly right. But I follow the rules.
Final hour of the show is coming up. You should stop following rules.
I love rules.
Hey, Gary Hoey of the Ho Ho Hoey tour is coming up on the show. He's a guitar player, and that's going to be great. We're going to talk to him. We got other stuff before the 1 o'clock hour of the Dave Glover Show and Us comes up here on KMOX.
Procrastination. We've all been there. But have you been dragging your feet when it comes to creating your retirement plan? I've heard it all from, I have time before I need to make a decision, or I'll eliminate debt first and then get ready for retirement. I've seen far too many people waste valuable time for their retirement planning, and I don't want you to be one of them. Hi, I'm Ken Heisey with Heisey Advisory Group. I'm on a mission to help people recognize the potential destructive impact procrastination can have on their retirement plan. Don't procrastinate. Call us today at 314-328-4400 to ensure you get on the right path toward your retirement dream. That's 314-328-4400, 314-328-4400.
Heisey Advisory Group provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Yes, with inflation, interest rate increases, and a possible recession looming, we are no doubt facing uncertain times in the housing market. But as a realtor with over 20 years of experience, I can tell you, if you're thinking of selling your home, now more than ever, you need a realtor to help you through these times while saving you money. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty, and we offer all of this for only 4%. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444.
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Now your Bite This Network traffic report. It looks like every vehicle in the country is currently headed to Hardee's for a saucy A1 double cheeseburger for only $2.99. You heard that right. Every single car, truck, and annoying electric scooter thing all heading to Hardee's. But don't take a detour. Hit the brakes on your hunger with a Charbroil Double Deal. Bite into the new A1 double cheeseburger for only $2.99, only at Hardee's. Tax not included. Available for limited time at participating Hardee's restaurants. Price may vary. A1 is a registered trademark of Kraft Foods used with permission.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
Your home of the Chiefs. This is KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Paramount Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Brown. The physicians at Paramount Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, To eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Paramount Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now. 314-720-8081. 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 12 noon, we've got clouds and 59 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Our top story this hour, in a meeting with congressional leaders from both parties, President Biden says lawmakers should swiftly pass a measure ending a dispute between railroads and unions, avoiding a painful strike at the end of next week.
The president is urging Congress to adopt in full the agreement reached in September between railroad bosses and labor leaders. That even though workers in 4 unions rejected it, citing a lack of sick leave. In 1992, then Senator Biden was one of just 6 votes against ending a rail strike.
Mr. Biden, no.
30 years ago, he argued, the measure ending a 2-day strike favored the companies over workers. But now President Biden says the economy would be put at risk if railroads shut down. Stephen Portnoy, CBS News, Washington.
More on a story we brought you at 11:30. A Walmart employee who survived the mass shooting at the store in Virginia has filed a $50 million lawsuit against the company. She claims Walmart continued to employ the shooter, who had known propensities for violence, threats, and strange behavior. Walmart, which is headquartered in Bentonville, Arkansas, did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The Senate is expected to pass the Respect for Marriage Act today that enshrines same-sex marriage rights into law. It would then go to the House. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer.
Pushing respect for marriage over the finish line required patience, persistence, and today it's paying off.
The tensions between Washington and Tehran are taking a back seat in theory as Team USA prepares to take on Iran at the World Cup in Qatar today. On the streets of Doha, this U.S. fan is eager to see a competitive match free of politics. He plans to keep his eyes on the prize.
I prefer to focus on the soccer element of it. Obviously,
USA,
the geopolitical aspect of things is significant as well. There's a lot of, geopolitical tension between both countries, but we're focused on the sport tonight.
St. Louis researchers are still trying to determine why some people who get COVID still suffer from brain fog. Washington University's Ziad Alaei was a guest on Total Information AM. He says while the overall percentage of COVID patients who eventually experience neurological problems is low, the catch is that so many people have been infected since the start of the pandemic.
Even single-digit percentages will translate into significant increased burden, increased long-term burden of these serious complications.
One possible silver lining, Alali says their research has the potential of finding new therapies for conditions like dementia. The First Mid-Bank and Trust Business Desk. Does a date have to be expensive?
Daters are embracing frugality. Nearly half of single Gen Zers and millennials have suggested or taken someone on a less expensive date due to inflation and the current economic environment. That's according to dating app Plenty of Fish. The Wall Street Journal reports the average date night costs $98. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
The Dow from Stifel's down 54 points to 33,794. And we've got 67, an incident at Eddy and Park going north. A stalled vehicle on 70 going west before Lambert Airport. That's on the right shoulder. Another stall 70 west at 270. Watch out there. Emergency vehicles on 44 east past 100 east. The left lane is closed.
It is going to be a windy, warm afternoon. Sun to clouds up into the mid-60s. Showers and some thunder this evening as we see gusty winds plunge the temperatures down the 20s. Real feels in the teens. Some sunny breaks and up to 20s and 30s in real feels tomorrow. And then we see those temperatures moderate into Friday. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Steve DeVore, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by Reinhold Flooring. Want beautiful first-class flooring at a competitive price? Call Reinhold Flooring with professional craftsmen and a knowledgeable, caring sales staff that helped earn them St. Louis Magazine's best flooring store 2 years in a row. Schedule a free in-home measure and consultation at reinholdflooring.com. It's a cloudy sky, 61 in Florissant, 64 in St. Peters, and 59 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444.
Final hour of the show here on the show. Amy and Chris in the new show. Kevin is on the Dave Glover show.
Oh my gosh.
What? And that starts at 1 o'clock. With all of us, we have the free for all, the romper room. Do people still say that?
I think people stopped saying romper room. Rumpus room? I think it's a rumpus room. It's not a romper room.
Is it romper what you like?
A romper is like
that's
overalls.
the thing you wear.
Yeah, a rumpus room.
I think romper room.
I think people stopped saying rumpus room in 1973.
No, romper room was a TV show.
Romper room?
Yeah. It was on until from 1953 to 1994.
314-436-7900 if you have a rumpus room.
Speaking of the text line, we did have an officer text into the show.
Did we?
Yes. So 314-436-7900 to contact us if you want.
Should I explain what my question was?
Yeah, go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, it was snowing on the way to work last year during Snowmageddon.
At about 5 in the morning.
5 in the morning, I'm driving to work. I decide to take Clayton Road. I am the only one on Clayton Road. It's completely covered in snow. And for a split second, I thought, Amy Mark Scores, this is your chance to be a rebel. Yeah. This is your daredevil moment. You should do a donut on Clayton Road. Of course, I didn't because I'm a rule follower and I don't know how to commit crime or break a law. So I didn't do that. But if I had done a donut on Clayton Road and I had been seen by a police officer, what would have happened? That was my question.
So the question is this. The answer is this. First, hazard lights don't mean you can do anything you want on the road.
Okay, that wasn't the question. That
second,
was not the question.
Being the only one on the road, I probably would have pulled you over to make sure you were okay.
Aw.
And then, and then would have realized that you were not okay, but it's not because of the driving.
What?
Yeah.
This was a real text?
It was a real text.
But I was okay. I wasn't drunk. I was on my way to work.
Well, they're just making sure that maybe, who knows? That's
Like
why they would pull you over.
out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's what they were going to be worried about.
So I wouldn't have gone to prison.
Texter from a 262, Kenosha, hello. Silly Amy, cops love donuts. We're still running that joke back.
I guess so.
I don't think, you know what? This is a good question.
This is a good question.
Text us if you're a police officer, 314-436-7900.
And by the way, I was the captain of the blue team at Guns N' Hoses last year. So all these police officers, we need your answers.
Need to know, do you like donuts more than the average person does? And by the way, we love Old Town Donuts in Florissant and Colleyville. We talk about them all the time.
How did that start? How did the cops like donuts thing start?
I don't know.
314-436-7900. Do police officers per capita like donuts more than the average person?
I don't think that there must have been a time, because I don't know if there's this perception that they, they're trying to kill time. So what do you do? Go to the donut shop.
But here's
I don't know.
the thing. Cops work shifts 24/7. They're hungry because they've been working a shift since 11 p.m. It's 3 a.m. The only place to get food is a donut shop. Maybe that's, I guess you could go to a gas station, but
yeah,
I think it was options. It was a matter of practical concern.
You might be right. We discussed the World Cup game, the pending game between the United States and Iran, which gets started in less than an hour.
And the official word from Bill McDermott is, don't worry about it.
Oh.
Because Ranj was nervous.
Right.
Ranj is pretty nervous because the U.S. has to win this game. They have to win this game against Iran
in order to advance to the knockout rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm nervous. I'm a bit.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous because soccer, you can dominate on the pitch and it could be 0-0 because their goalie, you only get a few chances. You only get a few scoring chances. This isn't basketball. It's not football. It's not hockey. You get a couple of good scoring chances. Right. Their goalie comes up big. It's 0-0. And then something random happens like a penalty kick. And
That's
Iran
what happened
could
against
be,
Wales.
Let's say Iran's completely outplayed, but they get a penalty kick. Over.
Yeah. Wales. Come on. I'm not saving the Wales anymore. I'm over it. I'm mad at them.
Different Wales. Catherine Zeta-Jones is from Wales.
We talked with Bill McDermott about that big game coming up, and I expect that we're going to talk to him again prior to the next game for the United States men's national team. At least I hope. We have been discussing the rail strike or the potential of the rail strike, and it looks like it's going to be avoided, probably at the cost of rail workers who want some paid sick leave without getting in trouble for it.
Right, I was going to say it's going to be avoided because it's now illegal. The Biden administration, along with Congress, is passing legislation. They decided to pass the legislation yesterday that would prevent the rail strike from happening. Now, these negotiations have been going on in earnest for 3 years, not just between the railway carriers and the union workers, but also with a national mediation board and the presidential emergency board. It's his prerogative to put that together to help keep the economy running. And 9 of the 12 unions agreed to the suggestions put forth by these boards, but there are some holding out. So potentially this strike would have affected 100,000 railway workers, which would have been 30% of the freight movement in this country. Can you imagine going into the Christmas season with 30% of freight movement just absolutely shut down, in addition to the already existing supply chain issues, inflation, costs of fuel, all of that? It would have been a disaster.
$2 billion per day, the economy would have taken a hit.
Yeah.
If these rail workers go on strike, that's a pretty big deal. And I am very pro-union, and I am on their side on this one. And you mentioned Biden, who is a pro-union person. I think he's stepping in because of politics. I don't think he's doing this and is not asking Congress to act on this because of ideology. I think it's because politically he knows it would be disastrous for them to have a shutdown, even though it wouldn't be his fault.
Do you remember when the ship got stuck in the canal last year?
Yeah, the
2 years
Evergreen
ago?
or the Evergiven or whatever it was called.
And the billions of dollars that cost, and how people in St. Louis, there were certain pieces of furniture and other things that they didn't get because it messed up the system so much, having that ship wedged. That would be the worst feeling. I mean, I've been in some tight parking spots before, and you ever get stressed because okay, I got to make this. People are watching. I got to get into the spot without hitting anything. I am really good at parallel parking, though.
Good for you.
Thanks.
That's a thing that I would not expect you to be good at.
I could be an Olympic parallel parker. Like, I'm talking in front of a cafe with outdoor seating, super tight spot. I'm in.
That's an upset that I never saw coming.
Thank you.
A texter from a 314, a police officer. Police like free food. Donuts are usually free for police. Is that true?
I don't know, but you know what? Radio people like free food.
Hell yeah, man.
We eat so much junk around here if it's free.
That's why I love when Charlie comes in, because he brings in Old Town donuts.
Oh my gosh, they're so good.
Yeah, it's
so
great.
If you're a cop and you go into a bakery, a donut shop, most likely you'll get free donuts.
And this is also true. From a 314, in the old days, there was not a 24-hour station like Quick Trip where donuts and coffee were served.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was a practicality concern. Donut shops, bakeries were open at 3 a.m.
Yeah, I agree. Remember when I said, Amy, that you can send a voicemail to the show?
Oh, I do remember that.
944-1120, 314-944-1120.
Just wanted to let you know, I was laughing so hard driving my car yesterday in that 1 o'clock hour. You guys are awesome. Thank you for all the laughs.
Now, you damn right.
That's
that lady.
Awesome. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, that's right. 1 o'clock hour. It's the Glover Show with us, or we're with the Glover Show, whatever.
Yeah, it's
every day now.
Glorious pandemonium. I was laughing so hard, my face hurt. And I listened to it again. That's how much I love radio. I'm a radio dork. I was a fan of radio before I was on radio. I mean, I grew up listening to KMOX. I remember my first super starstruck moment before I was in radio. I was being interviewed by Tom Ackerman because I had written a book about running and all of that. So he had me on sports on a Sunday morning. And I walked into the studio and there was Tom Ackerman in Studio B with the newspaper. You open the newspaper, you shake it out, and you're reading. He's in front of the microphone. And I thought, oh my gosh, I am living my dream. Like, I was a fan first.
Mine was Jack Buck. You ever heard of him?
Ever heard of him?
Yeah. I met him when I was interning, and it was the day I was being interviewed for my internship.
Yeah.
I think it was waiting for Randy Carricker to do the internship. And Jack walks into the sports office, and I guess he never really came in. He didn't need to, but he came in, and I was sitting there waiting, and he picked up a newspaper, and he sat down, didn't say a word to me, and he starts reading the paper, and then, I don't know, 30 seconds goes by, and then he's like, hey, I'm Jack Buck, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, hey, I'm Chris, and I think I gave him my last name. And so what are you doing here? And I'm like, well, I'm waiting for Randy for an internship. And a little bit more time goes by, and he says, Ranji, what the hell kind of name is that? I'm like, I don't know, man. It's French.
That's awesome. It's Ranji.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know.
That's incredible.
It's a bastardized version of French.
I love it. I love those stories. That's why Tom Ackerman is the best. It's been his passion forever. When he was a little boy, he had railroad ties on the driveway. You know how the driveways used to have that? And he would pitch a baseball against the railroad ties and call the game. He would make up a game and call the game. Then he'd go inside and record the box score. Like, he's been doing this since he was a kid and just working his way up through radio. At one point, he was Sweet Meat the Pig.
Ackerman?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh.
I know. He started with Sweet Meat the Pig, and look at him now.
Look at him.
I think he has a career in this business.
We'll see. Still to be determined.
Yeah.
Texter from a 314. I need to look this up and see if it's true. Tyler, look this up and see if it's true. World War II, soldiers were given donuts after the war. When they returned home, a lot of them became police officers and just kept on eating coffee and donuts.
Is this true?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking Tyler to get on it.
Look at the Smithsonian website or something, Tyler.
Yeah.
Something respectable, not some random.
Not like Quora or something.
Yeah.
Not like Ask Jeeves.
Or Yahoo Answers.
That's 314-436-7900. Speaking of Yahoos, Elon Musk is doing stuff.
Oh my gosh, we went so long without talking about Elon Musk.
He's trying to go to war with Apple. This'll turn out well. Amy Marks-Kors and Chris Ranji on the show.
Well, we were just talking about supply chain issues and inflation and all of the other challenges facing businesses. Well, if you're a business owner and you have 5 or more employees and you managed to survive the past couple of years, you could be eligible to receive a payroll tax rebate of up to $26,000 per employee. Now, businesses of all types can qualify for this tax refund, even if your company took PPP or if you're a nonprofit. Even if during this time you saw an increase in sales, you could still be eligible. The team of tax attorneys that they have put together at getrefunds.com are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program and have already returned $1 billion to businesses, and they can help you too. Here's the thing. It's only available for a limited amount of time, so you don't want to wait. To find out if your business qualifies, go to getrefunds.com, click on Qualify Me, and then answer a few questions. Getrefunds.com, getrefunds.com.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to The Dave Glover Show and all the news, talk, sports, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
The holidays are upon us. Call Zero Res now before the rush. Get 3 rooms Zero Res clean starting at just $129 and get a free room of fiber protectant for an $80 savings plus $50 off your air ducts. Call 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different? How? You sell high commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, you really do look out for your clients.
That's because our top priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. It might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss.
Hi, this is Charlie Brendan. Do you have a home or a business made out of stone or brick? If so, listen up, because Morelli Tuck Pointing is the masonry specialist, serving St. Louis for 31 years. Morelli Tuck Pointing can work on completely solid houses and buildings, spot pointing with color match, brick and stone repair, foundation repair, walkways, porches. This time of year, people notice that their patios are somewhat cattywampus and those bricks need realignment. How about caulking, waterproofing? Morelli is a family-owned and operated business. Longtime employees there feel like family. And of course, everyone at Morelli is very proud to be a recipient of the Better Business Bureau Torch Award, which is only given to local companies with exceptional customer service. Today, you can call to request a free and quick estimate at 314-645-1387. When it comes to bricks and stone, go to the best. Morelli Tuck Pointing at MorelliTuckPointing.com.
We go where you go. 1120 AM, 98.7 FM, KMOX.com.
It is Tuesday, and it is Giving Tuesday. And I'm bringing that up because I'm super excited.
Like you're giving me hell? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Oh.
Or giving to charity, which might be a nice
That's better.
alternative. Yes. And I'm bringing it up because I'm Amy Mark Scores, Chris Ranji over there. My Salvation Army virtual red kettle is up and running. I'm so excited to partner with the Salvation Army again this holiday season. And Giving Tuesday is a perfect day to let everyone know that my virtual red kettle is up. So if you go to salarmy.us/Amy Mark Scores, salarmy.us/Amy Mark Scores, you can donate to the Salvation Army through my virtual red kettle. I'm excited. I'll make some more posts about it, but it is just such a great organization that helps our community, our neighbors. It's a great way to know that your money is going to help your neighbors in need.
That is an awesome deal. And Mark Scores, because it's difficult, is MARXKORS.
Very well
Mark
done.
Scores.
Very difficult, very German. The Germans like to complicate words.
They really do.
They love it.
They really, really do. Speaking of complicating things,
Mm-hmm.
why does Elon Musk... Why is he like this? So yesterday, he has been lamenting the fact that a lot of advertisers have pulled out of Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And Apple is threatening to remove Twitter from its app store. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that Apple has a very extensive, I think they call it objectionable content, like terms of service thing,
Mm-hmm.
where they will they very heavily moderate all the things that are on their app, and if they're on their app store, and if they feel like, there is racist content, or if there's anti-Semitic stuff,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever it is, or child porn kinds of things, like really, really bad stuff, they don't want it in their app store.
Mm-hmm.
And so because Twitter has fired all of their moderation teams and people who do this stuff and their corporate communications, they have had a difficult time reaching Twitter to be like, hey, this stuff is popping up here. Are you going to fix it? And normally things will happen. I'm really oversimplifying this, but that's basically what's going on here, is that they just don't want stuff on their app store that could be potentially harmful one way or another, but they're not getting the communication, allegedly, from Twitter to say, yeah, everything's fine and we're moderating and, all's well.
They're talking,
So-
Apple's talking about having Twitter on their app store because
Taking it off their app
Yeah.
store because of this, but also advertising has been diminished. Well, yesterday, Elon tweeted at Tim Cook, who is the he is the president of Twitter, or excuse me, of Apple. He runs Apple. And he said, Apple has mostly stopped advertising on Twitter. Do they hate free speech in America? And then he tweeted at Tim Cook and said, basically, what's going on here, Tim? And Tim Cook, to my knowledge, did not respond publicly. I know there's a screenshot going around that said he did, but I don't think he has. What about picking a fight with one of the most popular tech companies in the entire world, certainly in the country, because at least half of the people who have a smartphone in this country have an Apple. They have an iPhone. People use Macs. I don't have an iPhone, but I use a Mac computer. I have an iPad that I use. I know that's weird. Whatever. Let's not get into that. But people love Apple. It is the most popular smartphone in this country. Not necessarily the world, but it has about half the market.
Over half in this country.
Yes, but in the world, I think it's like 48, 49% or something. But in this country, it is 55% or more. So they absolutely dominate when it comes to that. What does picking a fight with them accomplish?
Yeah, I mean, but what did buying Twitter accomplish?
Well, I know.
I think Musk's ego and his inability to moderate impulse at all has led him down certain paths that I think in retrospect he realizes may not have been smart, but he's too
he has to double down.
Egotistical.
He has to.
Yes, to backtrack. So, and again, it's what's interesting with the whole censorship and free speech and what's free speech and what's not. Everybody is throwing these terms around. I think they have no idea what they're talking about. Most people just don't want to hear what they don't want to hear.
Yeah.
And that's to them is, well, I get to say what I want to say. That's free speech. But if you say something offensive, well, that should be censored. But I don't see, here's the thing. Even when Twitter was under Jack Dorsey, they said, well, it's not a free speech platform. Obviously, Donald Trump was kicked off of Twitter because of what he said. However, it's not a standard of you can't say this type of hateful thing or you'll be taken down, because it's whatever made Jack Dorsey uncomfortable. How do I know this? Because the supreme leader of Iran is still on Twitter and can tweet things about annihilating Israel and anti-Semitic hate crime, but nobody's paying attention to the supreme leader of Iran's Twitter account. So somehow he's still on. The CCP has state-run, communist-run Twitter accounts that at one point tweeted about the benefits of genocide and female sterilization on their Twitter account. But again, it didn't cause the ruckus because people weren't paying attention to it. So Jack Dorsey didn't have to take that off. Twitter takes down what makes people upset.
It isn't free speech.
It's not free speech.
It never has been a free speech issue. Conservative voices are not being silenced. And that's all any of this is that there has been this groundswell of people saying conservative voices are being stifled. They're not, because there's a ton of conservative people that are saying all kinds of conservative things on Twitter and have been for years. But this has nothing to do with free speech. And Elon similarly will just suspend accounts he doesn't like. It's the same thing. There's nothing different about this. But also, I think what is getting lost in this entire conversation is Apple is a company that wants to make money. Apple likes to make money, and if they feel it's nothing about wokeism, they're not being woke, which is such a stupid term nowadays. They feel like if anything is putting their profits in jeopardy, they're going to disassociate themselves from it. It's not about them finding conscience. It's about them deciding, I don't want to lose profits. That's all any of this is. And Twitter and the way it's being run is threatening companies in that way. So a lot of them want out. Let's do some Christmas stuff when we come back, huh?
Yeah.
Amy and Chris on the show.
Spend your afternoon with Dave Glover.
I had COVID. It sucked, but it was a few days. I definitely don't have long COVID. What I do have, though, I have COVID time displacement. Parts of time seem weird to me.
What does it feel like it should be to you?
It feels like it should be about 2014, 2015. And I'm telling everyone over waffles, like, no, listen to me. Listen, Donald Trump was president. They're like, shut up, Dad. What? I'm just like, no.
The Dave Glover Show. Weekdays now beginning at 1 on KMOX.
KMOX news time is 12:29. Donate a car, get a tax receipt, and tickets to the St. Louis Aquarium at mersgoodwill.org.
Yeah, I was just at a convention with for one of the major manufacturers, and they were showing all the new products, and we were discussing all the new regulations that are starting in January. With that being said, there are new changes coming up next year. But if you want to get ahead of the curve and you think you're going to replace it, but you don't want to replace the system now, here's what I'm willing to do. I can buy all the equipment if you want to buy it now and put it in at a later date. I have a feeling it's going to save you 20%, 30%, which is huge on a furnace and air conditioner. If your system is 15, 20 years or older and you know you're going to do it, probably not time to be putting it off. I mean, we have 0% financing for up to 60 months if you qualify. I can help you out. Call me, Bart Inman, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Just this one name, Bart Inman. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com.
At 12:30, it's cloudy and 59 degrees downtown at the Arch. Chinese universities are sending students home, and police are fanning out in Beijing and Shanghai to prevent more protests. That comes after crowds angered by severe anti-virus restrictions called for Chinese leader Xi Jinping to resign in the biggest show of public dissent in decades. The National Weather Service is warning of dangerous long-track tornadoes across the mid and deep south into tonight. Mallory White with the Mississippi Emergency Management Agency is telling people,
we ask people to make sure you have at least 72 hours worth of food and water and have that ready to go at all times.
Parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama could see flash flooding from heavy rain. Police followed through on their warnings to drive carefully over the Thanksgiving holiday. In Shiloh, officers issued 2 speeding tickets, 4 uninsured driver tickets, 15 citations for not wearing a seatbelt, 1 person arrested on a misdemeanor warrant, and 23 other tickets. And right now, MoDOT says 44 East is closed past Missouri 100. There's also a stalled vehicle 70 West before Lambert Airport on the right shoulder. Weather is sponsored by Metro Transit this afternoon, windy and warm, with early sun gives way to clouds as we move through the afternoon. High today about 65 degrees. Periods of rain and a thunderstorm from late afternoon into the evening, and the winds could be gusty for a time. Then it clears and dries out and turns very cold with a low 25 to 30 degrees. Tomorrow's high about 40, but the real feels in the 20s and 30s. $28 says you click over to the free transit app. If you do, you'll get $28 off a Metrolink November or December monthly Metro Pass through the end of the year, or save $12 when you download the app and buy a weekly Metro Pass. Don't want the app? You can get $28 off your monthly Metro Pass whenever you normally buy it. Previously discounted passes excluded. Right now, it's a partly cloudy sky, 59 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Add a little pop of flavor and fun to your company's holiday gifting plans.
At Pop Pop Hooray, we offer a wide variety of corporate gift options with over 50 popcorn flavors to choose from and unique customization options to provide one-of-a-kind popcorn gifts for anyone.
Whether you're surprising clients, staff members, or friends, let us provide you with a memorable gift that really pops.
We even offer shipping. Just give us the address and we'll handle the rest, with locations in Ferguson and now St. Charles.
Call or visit online at pophooray.com. Pop Pop Hooray. More flavor, more fun, endless possibilities.
The federal government is hiring 87,000 new IRS enforcement agents. Make no mistake, with spending out of control, they're looking to collect revenue. The first target will be you. If you have not paid your taxes or filed them in years, let me help you get that target off your back. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm here in St. Louis. So if you have unfiled returns, wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, now's the time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm before the IRS calls you. Your consultation is free, so don't put it off. The Lance Drury Law Firm focuses solely on tax resolution law. It's all we do. And if you have IRS problems, you have legal problems. Let us use our tax law resolution experience to guide you and work on your custom resolution plan. Call now. It's free and confidential. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Your home of the Cardinals.
Arenado swings and hits it deep to left field. That ball is out of here.
The Billikens.
Jumper. Yes! Billikens win!
The Chiefs.
Touchdown! Kansas City!
We are America's sports voice, KMOX.
It's Christmas time, baby. Holiday season is here. Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji on the show. here on KMOX, and we any moment Amy and I get to bring to you some Christmas tunes, we're going to do it.
Love Christmas.
Because
this is the best time of the year.
Yeah, it's so great. I love it. And it's a good thing we got rid of the Grinch because he didn't like this stuff.
Honestly, people probably don't know this. A little inside baseball. That's why we got rid of him.
Yeah, he's no longer with us.
Yes.
Gary Hoey is a tremendous guitarist, and he is on tour for his holiday show, his Christmas show, and it's called the Ho Ho Hoey Tour. And he's going to be in Edwardsville coming up on December 7th at the Wildey Theater, which is right there on Main Street. And Gary joins us now on the Quiver River guest line. Good afternoon, Gary. What's going on?
Hi, how y'all doing?
Oh, we are in a great mood because, again, it is the holiday season. You must love this time of year.
Well, I only have one thing to say to that.
I'm so glad you came prepared.
That's awesome.
I'm so glad you came prepared with that.
Well, I always say, in my house, it's like less talk and more rock.
So can we do this like every answer? Just no words, just play the guitar.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
it.
Well, then I'm gonna have to break out the wah-wah pedal and do like the Charlie Brown where I just talk through the wah pedal. So no, I can actually talk too. Hi guys.
Wait, that's Frampton, right? Isn't that what they do?
Yes, he does the talk box. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, wow, do you feel like we do?
Yeah, that's right. So tell us about this tour, because this is actually my first time hearing about it, but it's been going on for a really long time.
Yeah, the holiday music I started 27 years ago, and it just kept building and building, and it's been 27 years now doing the tours, and it started out just as a fun thing. I thought, Christmas music was great, but I wanted to change it up and add a rock and roll edge to it, and put some guitar music behind it, and do more instrumental versions, because I just sometimes when I hear somebody singing White Christmas, I get sad sometimes. I'm just like, I want to just hear the melody. So I thought I would do it and make something that people could play at a party, have a good time. And I never thought 27 years later I would be part of people's tradition. And I see families coming to my shows with their kids, and it's really it's an honor. I'm blown away.
Gary, do you remember the first Christmas song that you transformed with a little bit of rock?
I do actually, because the very first album I recorded, I started out just doing like the Silent Night. I was like, and that was all pretty and everything. But I'm like, I don't know. This doesn't really feel like me. I don't like cardigan sweaters. So I took my guitar and I went like this. And I started going. And then I tried to bring in the song. And then it was born.
That's incredible.
That's great, because we were making fun of our former co-host, and he does not like Christmas music at all, but he can get down with the hard rock, with the metal, that kind of Christmas stuff. Is that must be how you feel about it too?
Well, I do meet a lot of people on tour where they say to me, "Man, I hated Christmas music, but now I like what you do, or I like the rock Christmas." And sometimes it just makes people find their place in Christmas where they can still enjoy the holidays. So I kind of relate to it. I still love all Christmas music. I do, because I still love the Bing Crosbys and the Johnny Mathis and the Elvis Christmas. I mean, it's still part of our tradition at my family house and with my mom and everything.
You've toured and played with incredible singer-songwriters and musicians like Brian May of Queen, or of Joe Satriani, the Doobie Brothers, Kenny Wayne Shepherd, Peter Frampton, as we mentioned earlier. Have you ever collaborated with them on some of your Christmas songs?
I haven't up till this point. I've been mostly, because I recorded the first Christmas album I did, the Ho Ho Holy one, was done literally in a bedroom and on an 8-track recorder. I just did it for fun. I wasn't expecting anything big. But now that, we're coming up on the 30th anniversary in a few years, I've been thinking about doing a Ho Holy and Friends, and maybe getting some of these these people that I've worked with to guest and maybe play something with them, which would be amazing, and then take them on tour with me.
How has this show changed over the years?
It's become, every year I try to add something different to the show every year because I have like 40 songs and we can't play 40 songs, but I play the You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch. Like those are the songs that a lot of people come to hear, but I always try to throw in something every year that's a little different. And my mom loves the 50s. So this year we threw in kind of like that old, like that. Those old, just beautiful melodies. So we threw that in, Have Yourself a Merry Christmas. So we keep trying to change it up, and we come out after the show and hang out with people. We do selfies with our Santa hats, and, we always come out and talk to the families. And that, to me, is the connection that I like after the show.
Because you're playing in smaller venues, right? And so you have the ability to do that.
Yes, we do. We do smaller theaters. We do smaller venues. We do casinos. And, I love kind of what we're doing because it's sort of like this little cottage industry business that I've created that is so true to the fans that are there. And the music has, spread so far and wide. I mean, my friend said it was at Disney. They were walking through the Disneyland park and my Christmas arrangement was playing. I've been in Hallmark gift cards. I've been in movies with Danny DeVito. Not started the movie, but my music. But I'm too tall. They won't book me. I'm almost 6 feet tall. He won't let me.
No.
But my music has just been in so many places. So for me, what I want to be playing in arenas, not really. I love what we're doing.
Well, I love your story, and maybe you can expand on this a bit, but you're from Boston, and when you were a teenager, is it true that you would hang outside Berklee College of Music and then pay people to give you lessons?
Yes, that's a true story. I wanted to go to Berklee to study music because I wanted to know, like, why does Jeff Beck always play the right note at the right time? Or why does Jimmy Page arrange music the way he does? And I wanted to learn what music was about. So my mom said, well, go hang out at Berklee. You might learn something, hang around. And I just started going down there, and a guy was coming out of the bookstore with a backpack. I'm like, did you go to Berklee? He says, yeah, I graduated, pretty soon. And I said, I'll pay you, man, for lessons. I really wanted to go there. And he was like, yeah, I need money. So we kind of met at the crossroads, and I was helping him, and he was teaching me just about music. And that's why I can now, do music directing at rock camps and different things. And so, yeah, if you have a desire to do something, you can find a way to get the education, backdoor, whatever you got to do, just do it.
Wow. And then your first big break, I guess I should say, came in 1987. So Ozzy Osbourne was in Boston looking for a guitarist. And how did you end up in front of Ozzy Osbourne?
That was like a fairy tale, literally, because I grew up in Lowell, Milltown, north of Boston. I'm sitting there and I hear, this legendary station, BCN in Boston. Ozzy's on the radio. I'm hearing this English accent, and I'm like, is that Ozzy Osbourne? So I start dialing the station. I'm just like so dumb, and I throw the phone on the floor and I start going. And I'm playing Ozzy's riffs over the phone with my little practice amp, and the girl on the line says, there's a guy playing guitar over the phone. And somehow they just gave me an address to send a demo tape, and 2 weeks later I get a call. I'm being flown to Los Angeles. I think it's a joke at first, and I've never been to LA. And I get to the airport. There's a limousine waiting. I go to this place. I'm wearing a black leather jacket, long curly hair. I walk in this hallway. There's 10 other guitar players. They all have the same exact jacket on with the same hair.
Oh, man.
And it looked like a movie. This lines of guitar army. And I got to go in and play with Ozzy, who was one of my heroes. And obviously, I didn't get the gig Zakk Wylde did, but it changed my life. It gave me a faith in myself. And he told me to go home and sell everything and move to LA. He said, "Gary, go to LA," and I did. And then I signed with Warner Brothers Records. Like a few years later, I got a record deal with Warner Brothers. So I owe it to Ozzy.
Oh, who is your favorite act to record with?
I work with everyone from Lita Ford. I've worked with, Bette Midler, Tom, a lot of Tom Jones, a lot of classic artists. And in the studio, for me, Lita Ford's my favorite because I love recording her and just co-writing. But I've worked with a lot of people just like on one song. We did a compilation album. We had Bette Midler, we had Ricky Lee Jones come in, and she was amazing. What a singer, just what a voice on her.
And you are coming to Edwardsville, Illinois, the Wildey Theater on December 7th so that people can catch your ho-ho-hoey Christmas tour. Very exciting. What's the best way for people to get tickets?
Well, they can go to my website, GaryHoey.com, if they want. We also have a link to a guitar giveaway. If they hit the newsletter, we're giving a guitar away on Christmas Day. But we played at the Wildey before and really had a great time. What a great show. Awesome people down there. So, people come out. I know there's some tickets left, and it's going to be a really fun show. So I hope to see everybody there.
Gary, I know we are looking forward to it. I know the people who are going to be there are very much looking forward to it. The Wildey Theater in Edwardsville, that will be on December 7th. Hey, man, thanks for hanging out with us for a little bit. You want to do me a favor? We're going to go to break. You want to play us out?
Yes, I would love to, man. Thank you guys so much for having me on. Always a pleasure, and happy holidays to everybody.
The Dave Glover Show is excited to partner with Hardee's and Operation Food Search for the Holiday Food Drive. While supplies last, stop into any metro area Hardee's and make a donation of at least $1 to benefit Operation Food Search and receive a limited edition DGS Holiday Bumper Sticker. All donations will benefit Operation Food Search to help children and families facing food insecurities. Get all the details about the campaign, or if you want to make an online donation, head to the KMOX.com events page now.
Men suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, regardless of age or past medical history, you'll see instant results on your first visit at Paramount Men's Medical Center. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free. Call now, 314-720-8081.
Join the internationally acclaimed Ambassadors of Harmony live in concert December 9th through the 11th at the Two Hill Performing Arts Center. See why thousands make this their Christmas tradition. Tickets on sale now at AOH.org. Be enchanted with the Christmas spirit with the Ambassadors of Harmony. 5 shows only December 9th through the 11th. Purchase online at AOH.org.
Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Find the car you want, new or used. Get it at Clement, get pre-approved. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. ClementAutoGroup.com.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444. More Amy, more Chris.
What is this weird show?
The Show on KMOX.
Okay, I did want to go back to something with Elon.
Oh, you
Twitter.
do?
I know, it's no fun.
Come on, man. I feel like, do we need to have a segment open when we're going to talk about Elon Musk?
It's the
Elon
Elon
here's our
segment.
daily Elon topic. Ugh.
It's the Elon segment. No, I just know that we were talking about the censorship, the non-censorship, the suspended accounts on Twitter, and how it's not a free speech platform. I can see how at the beginning, for sure, at least under Jack Dorsey before the new CEO took over, who is no longer the new CEO, that it was presented as a free speech platform for the people, but ultimately it wasn't. In the same way that KMOX is not a free speech platform.
No,
you
look.
can't come on KMOX and say whatever you want. And I understand that the Babylon Bee had made a joke, and they had made a meme that was mocking someone who was transgender, and they were locked out of their account. And of course, there was the New York Post with its Hunter Biden story before the election and how they were locked out of their account. That's something that people bring up a lot. It is relatively arbitrary, and I still go by what got knocked off Twitter was were the accounts and the people who made Twitter execs uncomfortable.
conservative voices are not being silenced and have not been silenced on Twitter. That's a nonsensical position that is taken up by people who have said things that were factually incorrect on purpose, and misinformation is moderated on Twitter whenever they are made aware of it. And it's not a perfect system. Sometimes things get through, but it is not because you're conservative and I'm liberal, and because you're conservative, you don't get to have conservative viewpoints, because Twitter is and has been filled with conservative viewpoints from a lot of conservative people. I see them every single day, every day. And they're not
inundated.
They're not being blocked. They're not being removed from the platform. If you do hateful stuff and you say things like the Holocaust didn't happen, then you might get suspended.
Or you might not if you're the supreme leader of Iran. That's why there is a feeling of arbitrariness to the Twitter algorithm.
But again, I think it's what you said earlier about it being how many people see it. Like if it
or how many
gains a
people
lot
are
of
up in arms.
If it gains a lot of traction, then you might, and I don't even know the tweet you're talking about, but if it gains a lot of traction and people see it, then they might do something about it. And I know for a long time, they were unwilling to block leaders of governments around the world. They didn't want to do it with Trump. That's why they waited so long to do it with him. And then post January 6th, I think things changed quite a bit. But this is not we're liberal, you're conservative, we don't want conservative voices on this platform. That just is not and never has been it.
Keeping with that theme, do you know what the word of the year is, according to Merriam-Webster?
I know. Do you want me to tell you?
I would love for you to tell
everyone. Or do you
everyone.
want me to pretend like I don't know? It's gaslighting.
It's exactly right.
It's what you do to me every day
First of all,
in the office.
no, I don't. You're a curmudgeon. You're crabby.
I
walk into the office. I'm like, good morning, Ron.
You do not
I'm so
do that.
grateful to be here today in this wonderful world working with you. He sits in the corner and complains and occasionally throws out violent insults.
I do not do that to you.
You're gaslighting me right now.
Oh, yeah, I am gaslighting you totally.
So there was a 1,740% increase in searches for the word gaslighting in 2022, according to Merriam-Webster.
And that's what word of the year is. It's if there is a lot of attention or searches or whatever for a word, it's the one that has the biggest increase from one year to the next. That's how they determine the word of the year.
Do you think, what was the word of the year last year? Was it something like quarantine, or 2 years ago was quarantine or an abundance of caution, which would be more of a phrase?
It probably was like, I don't know what would, all I know is that anti-vaxxer has been put into the Scrabble dictionary.
The Scrabble dictionary, I'm not a big fan of. Yeah.
This texter from a 636, they have Kevin's name wrong, which is really funny to me. I'll text in to be the Grinch in Anthony's stead. So Kevin is Anthony now. I don't know. I don't know who that is, but this person thinks Kevin is Anthony.
Tony. Tony.
I'll text in to be the Grinch in Kevin's stead. We have very similar personalities, I think. Hate Christmas and winter. The only good part is the ugly sweaters, and that's from Sean.
Sean hates Christmas?
That's what he says.
Sean.
Right?
Like,
well, maybe he doesn't celebrate Christmas.
Yeah,
but
even if you don't celebrate it, doesn't mean you have to hate it.
Yeah,
you'd be more indifferent.
I think there are people that don't like how commercial it is and all that stuff. But that's been a complaint about Christmas for literally 70 years, that it's become commercial.
Yeah, but okay, everything's commercial.
Charlie Brown Christmas, the whole thing is about how Christmas is too commercialized.
That's exactly right.
That's
and
the entire thing.
That was written like 200 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's always been like this.
When cartoons were invented.
Yeah.
Back in the 1800s.
That's right.
Late 1700s, right after the Revolutionary War.
That's why they fought.
TV cartoons. This is a really interesting text, I think, from when we were talking about police officers getting donuts and whether or not they like donuts more than the average person. I don't know if this is an officer or just somebody who is probably an academic, so probably one of your friends.
Sure.
It's not rocket science. It's human observation. When a layperson, not a cop, buys donuts. I love how they had to explain what layperson is.
This guy is, this is the most condescending text I've ever received.
But I think this person has a point. When a layperson buys donuts, no one notices. But if a police officer, any police officer, enters a donut shop, the uniform kind of stands out and everyone notices, and thus uniform associates with donut buying.
That's that there's actually a psychological phenomenon.
If a CPA buys a donut every morning, all you see is a suit-dressed person buying a donut.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think what he's describing is, I think it's like the Bader-Meinhof effect. It's something like the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon. I think I might be pronouncing it wrong.
Meinhof. It's
like Bader-Meinhof effect, and it's where once you notice something,
Meinhof, yeah,
you see it everywhere. Like what was that song that I don't know, that guy with the guitar, the Jack something?
Jack White?
No, but he had that song.
Jack Black.
He had that song Banana Pancakes, and everybody, like once that song was playing, you heard it all the time. You saw references to it on menus. I haven't seen it since.
I want to know what that's all about.
Yeah.
What you just did.
I think it's the Bader-Meinhof effect.
I want to know who that was for. What you just did. Amy is taking requests for code words now. It's like, hey, will you say cream pies and torts? And if you say it, then I'll know you're thinking about me.
Pies and torts?
I don't know why I said that. That's just all I can think of.
Okay, Raj, is that that your secret?
No, I just thought of it. For people who actually I think that's exactly what I said. This is a true story. For Matthew Perry. Remember Matthew Perry, the Friends guy from Friends? I had met him one time, had this meeting thing, and I did a show like an hour later, and he said, hey, I want you to say, he gave me a phrase to say, and cream pies was in it, and torts, I think, and something else. And he said, if you say these things in order, then I'll know that you're saying it for me. And I'm like, all right. So I did. I don't even know how I worked it in, but I did.
Cream pies and torts?
Yeah. Cakes and cream pies and torts or something like that.
Was it like during a baseball game?
Yep.
Was it really?
Yeah.
A White Sox game?
Yeah, it was great. Hey, the Dave Glover Show with Amy and me. It is coming up. The Power Hour, baby. It's next here on KMOX. Thanks for listening today.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet Store. Does it feel like so